A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
Well, Mr. and Mrs. Ace have moved into an apartment, having given up their bungalow when Mr. Ace lost his money. Their friend Marge still lives with them, and also Jane's 18-year-old niece, Betty, who has come to town and already found herself a job. Mr. Ace, however, is still looking for work. This episode takes place early in the afternoon at the apartment. Mr. Ace has just come in. Listen.
Here.
Hello.
Well, why are you home so early? What's the matter?
Oh, nothing.
It's only 1:30.
I know, Jane. It's just that I've done all I can today. I've been talking about jobs everywhere I could, and I left this new phone number after I called you to find out what it was. Did anybody call after I phoned you?
Not a call. The man put the phone in about 10 o'clock this morning, and not one person called. Present company accepted, dear.
Oh, thank you, dear.
You're welcome, dear. I wonder if he put the phone in right.
Oh, he must have. They know their business.
Oh, I don't know. He kept asking me if we wanted the French phone, and I kept telling him nobody here understood it.
Nobody understood it.
I must have told him a dozen times if I'm a day. The way he kept insisting on it.
Yes, Jane. Would you mind? Let's not make an issue of it.
Say something?
Let's not start anything about the telephone. Let's just hope it rings sometime this afternoon.
All right.
I just want to sit around anyhow and take it easy. I haven't been feeling any too good lately.
You haven't? What's the matter?
Oh, I don't know. I wondered myself. In fact, I dropped in at Doc Goldie's office this morning.
You did? I didn't know you felt that bad.
Well, I wanted to make sure there was nothing critically wrong.
Well, what did he say?
Well, he said, he hit the nail right on the head.
He did? Did it hurt?
Did what hurt?
You said he hit your nail.
Yes, that was my fault. I meant what he told me was certainly right. He said I'd been working too hard lately.
Working too hard?
Yes, that's funny, isn't it? When I told him I hadn't been working at all for a couple of weeks, he looked a little startled, and he changed it to I've been worrying too much lately.
Well, that's more like it. I think you have to, dear.
No.
Yes, I do.
Well, I could have saved $5 for coming to see you instead of the doctor, couldn't I?
Now, see, you're worrying again about the $5. That's what I'm saying.
All right, Jane, I won't worry. I'm just going to sit right here and try to take it easy.
Yes, now just sit right there and relax there.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's going to turn out all right. Now, you just wait and hear.
Wait and hear?
Yes, for the phone to ring.
Oh, I see. Well, that's all I can do at the moment.
That's right. Now, just sit back. Somebody will call up. Don't worry.
I hope so.
I do, too. Well, it's nice and comfortable in here today, isn't it?
Jane, I'm afraid we won't be able to hear the phone ring if you keep on jabbering away like this.
Oh, well, I guess we'll just be quiet, huh?
That's a good guess.
Dear, would you like to take a shower?
A shower?
Yes, I always find the phone rings most when I'm taking a bath.
I see.
Well, how about it, George?
No, not now, Jane. I'm quite comfortable now.
That's nice.
It is pretty cozy in here at that. I guess this is a pretty nice choice in an apartment we made at that.
Oh, yes, I'm getting used to it now.
I mean, as long as we did have to give up our home.
Well, this is our home.
Yeah, well, at least it'll have to serve as our home for the time being. It's just too bad that this all had to happen at this late stage of the game. Just as we were doing so well, the beginning to...
Now, don't talk like that, dear.
Oh.
What's the matter with this place? You said yourself just now it's so cozy here. You look very comfortable there. Isn't it nice to have some place to come and stretch out before a fireplace with a dog at your feet and a pipe?
Yes, only there's no fireplace and no dog.
Shall I get your pipe?
No, I don't feel like smoking just now.
Oh. Would you feel better if we got a dog?
No, Jane, will you forget about it?
Well, I want you to feel comfortable here, dear.
I do. I'm not worrying about myself anyhow. I'm just sorry all this had to happen to you.
Me? I don't care if we have a dog or not.
I'm not talking about a dog. That would be a fine thing. A dog, another mouth to feed.
Now, dear, that has all the earmuffs of a dirty dig. Do you mean Betty again?
Well, I'm sort of resigned to her now.
Well, she's working, isn't she?
Yes.
And she's going to pay us something every week for living with her?
Yes, I know.
I'm not worrying about that part of it. I'm worrying about finding some fellows for her.
Oh, don't bother yourself with that now, Jane.
Well, you read that letter my sister wrote me. She said she couldn't get Betty interested in any boys back home, and she wants me to do something about it.
But why take on any added responsibility?
Well, I don't mind playing Cupid for my own niece, dear. I like to do it.
All right, Cupid, if you enjoy it.
Well, I would enjoy it if she would only let me invite some boys over sometimes. But she's so obstinate she just won't listen. She keeps saying they're such a bore. How does she know she's never seen
She's so
them?
set in her ideas. For a young kid, she has some pretty serious thoughts, worrying about the conditions of the world.
Yes, isn't it a shame?
Yes.
If she'd only take off those glasses she wears, or only wear them when she reads, maybe. She's really pretty, don't you think she is?
Yes, I guess so.
She looks just like my sister. When my sister was Betty's age, she was as pretty as a fixture.
As a fixture, yes. Well, I guess it'll turn out all right.
I hope so.
She'll probably meet people where she's working, and they'll invite
No, that's just it. I thought maybe she'd meet the boss's son, like they do in the movies.
The boss's son.
Yes, but she had to take a job where the boss is a bachelor.
Oh.
Of all places.
It's disgusting, isn't it?
Yes, I think it's just... Oh, sarcastic, huh?
Well, I think it's pretty lucky she got a job at all. Very lucky to run into somebody that happened to need a secretary and getting herself $25 a week, you know.
But if she could have got some rich man with a good-looking son, and he'd come to the office someday in his open roadster and see Betty there and offer to take her home from work in the rain.
In an open roadster?
Well, or a taxi even.
Oh, you'll settle for a taxi.
Anything. And then he'd want to know when he could meet her again, and they'd begin seeing each other all the time, and before you'd know it, he'd ask her to marry him,
And his father would cut him off without a cent?
Yes, and he'd... No, he wouldn't. If anything, the father would come to Betty and offer her a lot of money if she would leave his son alone. And she tears up the check, and the father sees it's no use, so they live happily ever after.
Shall we stay for the newsreel?
What?
What kind of a movie is that you thought of?
Of course, I know I'm counting my sheep.
Before they're hatched, huh?
Yes, but it would be nice if Betty...
Oh, there's the phone now.
Wait a minute now, dear. You just sit there, and I'll answer it.
But, Jane, it might be one of those calls I'm expecting.
Well, I'll tell you if it is. Hello? What? No, you got the wrong number. Goodbye, then.
Well, that's irony for you. First call, and it's the wrong number.
Yes, well, don't worry. Now, where was I? Oh, yes, Betty and the boss. Oh, what I just did.
What?
That phone call.
What about it?
He said, is this East 4055? And I said, wrong number.
405. Why, that's this number.
I know. I'm just so used to our old number.
Oh, isn't that all? Well, I told you to let me answer it.
I know, dear. I don't know what I'm thinking
Oh,
of.
you're sitting around dreaming about Betty and her boyfriend. Now, will you please let me answer the phone from now on? That might have been one of the jobs that I left my number at.
Well, they'll call back, won't they?
I hope so. Only the way things are now, I don't want to take a chance of losing out on anything. So from now on, will you...
There it is, dear. Speak of the devil.
I'll answer it. Maybe my luck's changing. Maybe I'm going to get a... Hello? Yes? This is he? Yes, this is Mr. 8. Oh. Yes, Mr. Stevens. I know it is. Well, I'll be in tomorrow and make the payment. Oh, yes, without fail. Thanks for calling. Goodbye.
What is it, dear?
Oh, it's an insurance payment that's due. I've been so mixed up lately, I let it slip by with it. Miss Wilson used to remind me of it at the office. I'll have to hop over there tomorrow and pay it.
Dear,
Yes?
I've got about $400 in the bank.
No, Jane, thanks.
But I mean, if you need some
I've
money...
got a few dollars left, enough to meet expenses for the next few weeks anyhow. I'm not that destitute. Yes. Just that my insurance comes due at this time. That's what makes it kind of difficult.
Yes, it never rains in my pores. But honestly, if you want some money, dear, I'll be
I
glad
don't need any, Jane. Came out of the whole thing with about $600. Of course, this insurance takes quite a chunk out of that, but I'm sure something will be turning up before long.
Oh, sure it will.
Oh, I hope so, only it just looks pretty black right this minute.
Well, it always does, dear. That's a sure sign something good's going to happen. Don't you know that when things look very black, 9 times 10 something good happens?
9 times 10, huh?
Sure, now just sit back.
Oh, there's another call. No, I'll get it, Jane.
All right.
I don't think there's any other bill collector that would be... Hello? Yes? Speaking. Who? Yes, I'll hold on. Well, Neil Williams calling.
Well, Mark isn't here. You ought to know Mark isn't here at this time of day.
He's calling for me.
Oh, for you. Well, what is
Hello? Yes, Neil. How are... Well, I just happened to be here. I just walked in a little while ago. What? Marge told you all about it, huh? Yes, I've been having a little trouble No, I'm not proud. Anything at all. Oh, what could I do on a newspaper? I'm not a writer or... Oh, I see, yes.
What is it, dear?
Well, that sounds like something. Sure, I'm interested, but what kind of a job would it be? Sure, we'll be home all evening. Yes. Thanks so much, Neil. Thanks. 8 o'clock, fine. So long.
Thank you, dear.
Says you can get me a job on the post.
On the post? Why, you can't write.
I told him that. He said I didn't have to. It would be something I can do. He said he would come out tonight and tell me all about it.
See, what did I just tell you? I told you
Yes,
something.
but I wonder what it could be.
I don't know, dear.
Oh, I hope it's something I can do.
Well, all we can do now is wait for Neil and Trey. I'm sure that he... Oh, did you hear that little joke I made up? Neil and Trey?
Yes.
Well, it seems like old times.
And so Jane and Mr. Ace wait for Neil and Trey. Their prayers are answered with the proposition Neil has, as we learn when next we meet the Easy Eight.
Sound off for Chesterfield. Chesterfield is best for you. First cigarette with premium quality in both regular and king size. Chesterfield brings you Dragnet.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned a burglary detail. A wave of burglaries has broken out in your city. The thieves are fast. They're clever. Your job? Get them.
Years ahead of them all.
Chesterfield is years ahead of them all.
The quality contrast between Chesterfield and other leading brands is a revealing story.
Recent chemical analyses give an index of good quality for the country's 6 leading cigarette brands. The index of good quality table, which is a ratio of high sugar to low nicotine, shows Chesterfield quality highest.
Chesterfield quality highest.
15% higher than its nearest competitor.
Chesterfield quality highest.
31% higher than the average of the 5 other leading brands.
Yes, Chesterfield is first, with premium quality in both regular and king size.
Don't you want to try a cigarette with a record like this? Chesterfield.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Thursday, December 10th. It was cold in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of burglary detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Chief of Detective Thad Brown. My name's Friday. We were on the way out from the office, and it was 10:14 a.m. when we got to the Armstrong Schneider Jewelry Company, the manager's office.
Can I help you?
Yes, ma'am. Police officers, we'd like to see Mr. Armstrong.
Oh, yes. Just a minute. The police officers are here. Yes, sir, right away. Will you go right in, please?
Thank you very much.
Mr. Armstrong's office. Yes, sir. I'm sorry, but he didn't need it.
Won't you come in?
Thank you very much.
Thanks, sir.
Mr. Armstrong?
Yes.
It's my partner, Frank Smith. My name's Friday.
How do you do? Won't you sit down?
Thank you very much.
Would you like a cigarette?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thanks.
I have a lighter. As you know, this firm is probably the foremost fine jewelry store on the coast.
Yes, sir. I wonder if you'd tell us about the theft.
Yes. Well, we discovered it this morning.
About what time was that?
Well, about 9:45. That's when we missed it. I guess the necklace was taken about 9. Must have been right after we opened.
Could you give us a description of the piece, sir?
Yes, I have it right here. Got it from the insurance records. Have a drawing of it. We always have that done on high-priced items.
Mm-hmm.
Here you are.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. What value do you place on the necklace?
It's insured for $8,000. Firm can't afford to take a loss like that.
Could you tell us exactly how it was taken?
Yes, I can. It was just after 9. We just opened the front doors. People had started to come in. Lots of shoppers. Christmas, you know.
Yes, sir.
Well, this one couple came in, asked to see some of our more expensive necklaces. Henderson brought the tray out of the safe and showed the collection to the people.
Henderson?
Yes. He's the clerk who was waiting on the people.
Oh.
I gave him his notice. I had to. Looks to me like carelessness.
I wonder if we could talk to him.
Yes, all right.
Thank you.
Miss Courtney, would you have Henderson sent in here, please? Yes, right away. What? No, tell him I'll call later. That's right. Have him leave the number and I'll call back. Right, yes. He'll be right in.
All right, thank you. How long has this Henderson been working here?
I'd have to check the employment records to be sure. Offhand, I think it's been about 5 years. Ever since we opened at this location. We used to have a store downtown, then we moved out here.
Mm-hmm. Where did he work before that?
Well, let me see. I think it was someplace up north. San Francisco, I believe. Yes, he worked in the store up there. Had excellent references. He's a good salesman.
But you gave him notice, huh?
Well, I felt it was the only thing to do. If he's getting careless, he has no business working in a store that deals with expensive merchandise.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. Yes? Send him right in. What? No, please tell him to call later. No, I'm not into anyone. No one but Sharon. My wife.
Yes, sir.
Come in.
Do you want to see me, Mr. Armstrong?
Yes, come right in, Henderson. These are police officers, Mr. Friday and Mr. Smith. This is Charles Henderson.
How are you?
Hi.
How are you? They'd like to ask you some questions about the theft.
Yes, sir. Anything I can do to help?
Could you give us a description of the couple you waited on?
Yeah, I think so. The man was about 35, maybe 40.
About how tall was he?
Well, maybe 5'11". Might have been 6 feet. I'd say he weighed about 155 pounds, something like that.
Uh-huh. How about his coloring, his complexion?
It was light. Looked like he'd been out in the sun, though. His nose was all sunburned. I noticed it because you don't often see people with sunburns like that this time of the year. You know, December.
Mm-hmm. How was he dressed, do you remember?
He had a gray hat on, gray chalk-striped suit on, flannel blue shirt, maroon tie. Didn't see his shoes. He had on one of those new round collars, though. You know, rounded here on the collar point?
Mm-hmm. Was he clean-shaven?
No, he had a little mustache, one of those that looks like it's drawn on with an eyebrow pencil. Just a line, you know the kind.
Uh-huh. How about the woman? What'd she look like?
She was a small woman, not much more than 5'2", little, about 100 pounds. Real pretty. She had dark hair and blue eyes, very fair. I noticed it because I thought at the time that maybe she dyed her hair.
Mm-hmm. Did you have any marks or scars you saw?
No, I don't think so, no.
How was she dressed?
She was a little too overdressed, had a dress and a coat, had a jeweled clip here on her dress. She looked kind of flashy, cheap, you know.
I see. Anything about the way they talked and the accent, anything like that?
No, nothing I can remember.
Would you remember if either one of them wore glasses, maybe?
No. The man, though, he had a kind of funny way of talking.
What do you mean?
Well, he sounded sort of like one of those pitchmen on TV, you know, the kind that sell kitchen gadgets, things like that.
Mm-hmm. Could you tell us what happened, what they said when they came in, how they took the jewels?
Yes, they came in right after we opened and asked to see something in necklaces. Said they wanted to pay around $5,000.
Mm.
So I brought out the tray, but didn't find anything that they liked. And then I brought out the other tray. They looked at one of the necklaces. Beautiful thing, $8,500. You know, Mr. Armstrong, the emerald-cut diamond with the small sapphires?
Yes, I know the one. Beautiful thing.
Excuse me, can I use that ashtray a minute?
Yeah.
Thank you. I wonder if you'd go on, please.
Oh, sure. Well, I brought out the other tray and showed them the necklaces in it. They both looked for a long time. Then the woman said that she didn't think there was anything there she wanted.
Mm-hmm. What was the matter? Didn't they care for our designs?
No, it wasn't that, sir. They just didn't see anything they liked. So they moved back to the other tray. Then the woman said she'd found what she wanted. It was a small piece, 3 diamonds and 4 small rubies.
Did they buy that?
No, they said they wanted to think about it. They made a big thing about asking me if I thought that it would be sold before they could make up their minds.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I told them if they wanted to put a small deposit on it, we could hold it for them.
Yeah.
Ben said he'd rather not do that. He said they'd know by this afternoon. At that time, there were several people in the store, Christmas shoppers, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them were looking at a display of bracelets we had on the counter. I went over to them to see if there was anything I could do. You know, tell them that I'd get someone to wait on them.
I understand.
It's a foolish thing to do, I know that.
I'm afraid it was.
Yeah, I know now. Well, when I got back, the couple was leaving. They told me they'd be in this afternoon and let me know. Walked out of the store, and I stopped to help a gentleman that came in. When I turned back to the trays, I noticed the necklace in the more expensive tray was gone.
Mm-hmm. Would you be able to give us positive identification of these people if you ever saw them again?
Yes, I'm sure I would.
Wonder if you can come downtown with us and look at some pictures, see if you can identify the thieves for us.
Of course, if Mr. Armstrong has no objection.
Not at all. You'd like me to come along, too?
I don't think that will be necessary right now. If there's anything we need, we can get in touch with you here, can we?
Yes, right here at my home. I can give you that number.
All right, fine.
Okay. Here it is.
Thank you, sir. Well, thanks very much. You ready to go?
Yes, sir. I'll get my hat.
Just a minute, Henderson.
Yes, sir.
As soon as you get through down there, come on back. Your job's waiting for you.
All right, sir. I'd like to come back.
Anything I can do to help, just let me know.
All right, Mr. Armstrong.
Not at all.
I'll get my hat and meet you at the door.
Right. Have you notified the insurance company of the theft yet, Armstrong?
I have a call into them now. I'm expecting an agent from the firm any minute. Sure hope you can recover it.
Yes, sir. We'll do the best we can.
An $8,000 necklace. How do you think they'll go about disposing of it? Break it up?
Well, either that or leave it in one piece.
That'll make it kind of hard to unload, won't it? $8,000?
Not at their price. "10:37 a.m. We talked to the other people in the store. From them, we got verifying descriptions of the two thieves. 11:32 a.m. Frank and I took the clerk, Charles Henderson, down to the city hall and had him go through the mug books. We got out a local and an APB on the pair of thieves, and a description of the stolen necklace was prepared for the Daily Bulletin. The insurance company that underwrote the necklace got in touch with us and said that they were getting out printed circulars to jewelers throughout the country. The victim was unable to make an identification from the mug books. We had the M.O. of the theft run through the staff's office, but when the possibles were checked out, we had no new leads. Further interrogation of the owners and employees of the stores in the immediate vicinity of Armstrong and Schneider failed to turn up anything new. The theft was not a new one. For the past 6 weeks, there had been a series of burglaries taking place out on Wilshire Boulevard. Most of them had been exclusive women's stores or jewelry shops. To date, all of them had been articles of small individual value, none that approached the value of the necklace taken from Armstrong and Schneider. In an attempt to apprehend the thieves, all of the usual avenues of sale of stolen goods had been checked. None of the precautions apparently did any good. The thefts continued. Another 2 weeks passed. In that time, the thieves hit 3 times, all in the same general area. The employees of the victimized stores were questioned. From the information we got from them, we could be certain that the suspects were the same ones we were after. On Tuesday, December 29th, Frank and I got back from checking a lead.
Well, there's another one that went no place.
Yeah. You want to check the book?
Yeah, I'll get it.
Anything there?
Yeah, there's a call here from Alex Olson.
Olson?
Yeah. Got a Dunkirk number. You know Olson?
No, that name doesn't mean anything to me. Say what it's about?
No, so just call him, because it's important.
All right. Give me the number, huh?
Yeah. Here you go.
What is this, 190? Is that a 9?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's a 9.
You don't make 9s very good.
Slopey, can't write.
Can I speak to Alex? Oh, Alex Olson. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. The hotel.
Yeah.
Hello. This Olson? Yeah. This is Friday. Police department. You want me to call you? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sure, I remember, huh? Yeah, sure. We'd like to talk to you. Yeah. No, we'll come over there. That's right. You want to give me the address? Just a minute. Yeah. Okay. Right. Bye. Olson, he works for that carnival. You remember we talked to him last year? Says he wants to see us about some burglaries now.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
Says he's in with the thieves. 11:26 a.m. We drove out to the address Olson had given me on the phone. We talked to the desk clerk at the hotel. He said that Olson had just moved in, and that during the time he'd been there, Olson hadn't talked much to any of the other people in the place. The clerk gave us his room number, and Frank and I went up to talk to him.
What is it?
Joe Friday.
Just a minute.
Hi, come on in.
Thanks.
All right.
Olson, this is my partner, Frank Smith.
Oh, hello. Yeah, I remember you. Sit down.
Thanks.
You want a drink?
No, thanks.
Oh, I gotta have one.
What was it you want to talk to us about, Olson? Olson?
Huh?
What was it you wanted to talk to us about?
Oh, man. What a hangover. I really get 'em.
Yeah, now let's get to the point, shall we? What's on your mind?
Oh, I'll tell you. I don't know why I drink so much. I feel terrible the next day. I always drink too much.
All right, now look, Olson, maybe you got a lot of time. We haven't. We didn't come over here to sit and watch you drink. Now get to the point. You said on the phone that you were in with a gang of thieves we're looking for. Now what about it?
What I told you on the phone is true. It's all true. I'm glad to tell you. Get it over. Get it all out in the open. That's what I need to do. Get it all out in the open.
You had any breakfast yet?
No, I just got up before I called you.
Is there any place around here you can get something to eat?
Don't make no difference around here. Nobody knows me. I think there's a place down the street right next to the hotel. But what's all this about food?
I think you'll feel better if you have something to eat, won't you?
No, wait a minute.
You've had enough of that. Put it down.
I don't want no food.
All right, we do. Let's go.
You guys are getting a little bossy, aren't you?
We want to hear what you got to say. You keep hitting that bottle, neither one of us is going to make it.
Come on, fella. We'll buy you some breakfast.
You got a coat? It's cold out.
Oh, yeah. Sure glad you guys came. I'm glad to get this off my
Wait a minute.
chest.
Those dresses in there. Woman's clothes. Those belong to you?
Oh, no. I'm just keeping them for a friend.
Well, the labels on some of them here. Come from out on Wilshire, don't they?
You get a gold star. I'll tell you about them. That's part of the deal.
You want to tell us now?
Well, look, you made a deal about some coffee. Maybe it'll help me find my hands. Are you going to back out now?
All right, let's go. We'll come back.
Sure, you can come back. Take all the time you want to. Look the dresses over. I got some other stuff you'll want to see, too. But come on, let's go. Let's walk down now. Let's not take the elevator. It's too noisy. Murder.
All right.
Now, what's this other stuff you wanted to show us, Olson?
The jewelry. I got some of it in the dressers. Cheap stuff. Nothing worth anything. It's cheap.
Where'd you get the clothes and jewelry?
Oh, Red asked me to keep him for him.
Who?
Oh, he's the guy you want. He's the one that's engineering the thefts. He's the one. He's a real crumb. Big man. He's the one you want. I'd like to see you get.
How many other people working with him?
3 others.
You know who they are?
Sure. I know the whole story, start to finish. I know the whole thing. I'll tell you. I'll tell you all about it. Let's go out the side way.
All right. Now, where's this coffee shop?
Wait a minute. You sure you wouldn't like a belt?
No, and neither do you. Now, let's go.
Okay, you're calling it. Restaurant's right down here, just a couple of doors.
You know where this Red is?
Yeah, I'll tell you. He's the one you want.
How about the woman who works with him?
Oh, that's May. Red's not the guy who goes into the stores, though. A fellow that works that part of the operation is his brother-in-law, a guy named Hank.
What was her name?
May.
What's May? Is she the woman in the team?
Yeah. Red wouldn't trust anybody else. Oh, yeah. He's a big man, you know. You don't believe it, you just ask Red. He'll tell you. Big man, big bum.
This the place?
Yeah. You positive? No, I guess you wouldn't.
Booth in the back, all right?
Yeah. Hey, Joe, it doesn't look like they got service in the booths. What do you want, Olson?
Well, it ain't what I want, but I'll settle for a cup of coffee.
Joe?
Yeah, that's all right for me.
I'll get it and bring it back.
All right. Come on, Olson, let's go back. Sit down. All right, now suppose you start right at the beginning and tell me about it, huh? Who's Red? How do they work the operation? Where can we find them? Tell us everything.
All right. Well, first off, Red's real name is Keith Jameson. They call him Red because he's got red hair, it figures.
Yeah. What's he do for a living?
He works for Carney. Most of the year we're on the road. This is the off-season, so he's laying up in a trailer camp out in the valley. He doesn't do anything regular now. He just steals.
Is he one of the owners of this carnival?
No, he runs a pitch game. You know, rings and the pegs. If you play real good, you can win a quarter's worth of slum for $5.
Mm-hmm. How about his wife? She travel with the show?
Yeah, she travels. It ain't a regular show, not Red's part. He just got a concession, you know. He goes with the show like a leech. He's been thrown out of a dozen carnies for crooked stuff. His brother-in-law's a dip when we're on the road. Picks pockets in the crowd around Red's place. He's gotten us all in a lot of trouble. No carny in the country will have us around anymore. Don't take him long to get wise to it.
Mm-hmm. He's the one that's in on the burglaries with Red and his wife, is that it?
That's right. He lists the stuff.
How about his wife? Where's she fit in?
Well, she's the distraction. You know, the one that comes up and asks questions, pulls the clerk away so Hank can lift the stuff. In case there's any trouble, Hank acts as lumber, too.
What do you mean, lumber?
Well, you know, muscle. He takes care of the guys that
yeah.
beef.
Mm-hmm. Hey, will you give me a hand with that, huh, Frank?
Yeah, here. Look at my thumb. Stuff splashed on it.
Think it's blistered? No, it's good hot coffee in there. Here you are, Olson.
Oh, thanks. Come on, pass the sugar, will you?
Yeah, here you are. Where do you fit into this, Olson?
No place, really. I'm just along for the ride. I think Red figures sometime the axe is going to fall and he wants my head under it. I usually hold on to the stolen stuff until Red finds a buyer.
Does he use a fence?
No, he pushes the stuff himself. He usually works on a tip. You know, somebody wants to buy a piece of merchandise, Red meets him, sets up a deal.
Uh-huh. You willing to cooperate with us all along the line on this thing?
Sure, I'll go along with you.
You know where the necklace is that they lifted a couple of weeks ago?
Yeah, Red's got it. He's looking for a buyer now.
You think you can set up a meet for us?
Yeah, if he thought you wanted to buy the piece, it could be done.
Can you set up the meet?
Sure. I want to see you get him.
Tell me something. How are you going to come out on this if we pick up Red and the others? What do you want out of it?
I got my reasons. I got good reasons.
You want to tell us what they are?
Sure, I got no reason not to. Give me the sugar again, man.
Yeah.
You see, Red figures he's going to make a sideshow character out of me next season. I'm not going to go that route.
Yeah? What do you mean?
Oh, you know, the wild man from Borneo sit in a pit all day and yell at the customers. Pitch like that always draws a big crowd. Red figures it'll be good for picking pockets.
Yeah.
You ought to know by now Red's out of his mind.
Yeah.
Wild man from Borneo. Even a leopard skin won't help. Look at me. I only weigh 105 pounds.
You are listening to Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action.
Chesterfield is best for you. Listen to Chesterfield's record.
For a full year and 2 months, a doctor has been making regular examinations of a group of Chesterfield smokers, and he reports no adverse effects to the nose, throat, and sinuses from smoking Chesterfields.
Don't you want to try a cigarette with a record like this? Chesterfield. First, with premium quality in both regular and king size. Chesterfield. First choice with Young America. And that's from a survey of 274 colleges and universities. Try Chesterfields today. Remember, Chesterfield is America's best cigarette buy.
2:24 p.m. We continued to talk to Alex Olson. He told us what he knew of the operation of the thieves. We went back to his room and searched it thoroughly. We found several pieces of cheap costume jewelry and several of the stolen dresses. Most of the other things in his room were worthless. As far as we knew, had not been stolen. We took him down to the city hall and had him checked through R&I. He had an arrest record showing several arrests for being drunk in a public place. We checked the name Keith Red Jameson through the files. There was no record on him. There was no record in the moniker file either. Jameson's brother-in-law and the two women were also checked out, but we found no previous criminal record for either of them. Communications were gotten off to Washington to check the possibility that the suspects might have records in other states. 4:40 p.m. We met in Captain Wisdom's office. Olson told us that he'd arrange a meeting for us with Red. While we listened on an extension phone, he called the suspect, told him that he had a buyer for the necklace. A meet was set up for the following morning at the entrance to Alvera Street. Red said that he'd have the necklace with him at the time. 5:37 p.m. Frank, Olson, and I drove out to the trailer camp in the valley. We checked the trailer that Red lived in, and also the one his brother-in-law had. We got a good look at the car Red would drive to the meet, and then we arranged for a stakeout on the trailer park. 8:23 p.m. The three of us drove back down to the city hall.
You ain't going to try and take him at the meet, are you?
We hadn't got around to that yet. Why?
Well, you do, and it's going to point straight at me. You ain't going to put him away forever, you know. He's going to get out, and he's going to draw a straight line to me. I don't want that. I got to be protected.
We'll take care of you. Don't worry about it.
Oh, big deal. You take care of me. Well, how? That's what I want to know. How you going to do it?
We'll get him before he gets to the meet.
Here you go in here.
Look, tell me, how you going to work it?
We'll come up with a way.
You ain't going to get near him in plain clothes. I'll tell you that right now. He'll spot you a mile away. Comes to cops, he's got eyes in the back of his head. You can't get anywhere near him in those clothes.
Don't worry, we won't. He'll be picked up for something else. We'll find a necklace on him if he's got it, and you'll never know that's what we're after.
Well, how you going to work it? How?
We'll be in uniform, in a traffic car coming in from the valley. That might work, huh, Frank?
Yeah, I think so.
He's bound to make a mistake. When he does, we'll be there.
Yeah, that'll do it. You'll never figure anything to do with that, never.
Yeah, it ought to work.
Yeah, that'll work good. Yeah. You guys wouldn't like
No, we wouldn't. No booze.
Okay. I just noticed the bar across the street. I thought maybe you guys would like to stop there. I'd feel a little better about this if I had a drink. Just a little one. Come on now, bud.
Sorry, Alex. We got to take you over to the main jail.
You got a what?
For the time being, we got to hold you.
Oh, well, now, wait. It ain't the jail that bothers me, not being in jail. It's just that I hear it's pretty rough to get a drink over at the Gray Bar Hotel, you know. That's the only thing that bothers me. There's no room service there.
Yeah, well, it'll all work out for you.
Well, I don't know. So I got mixed up in this thing. Seems like I got no choice in anything. It don't seem fair. I got no choice.
DA's office will know what you did. It'll be marked down that way.
Well, I got no beef with you guys. You better take it easy with Red, though.
Is that right?
Yeah, he's got a gun.
The following morning at 4:30 a.m., Frank and I were dressed in the uniform of traffic officers. We were parked 2 blocks from the trailer park in a traffic car. The meet with Red was scheduled for 9 a.m. The officers on stakeout at the trailer park told us that they'd seen no activity in Red's trailer the night before. From where we were parked, we could keep his car under constant surveillance. At 7:45 a.m., we saw the suspect and his wife come out of the trailer and get into the car. We followed them over to Ventura Boulevard, and from there down Coahuila Pass. We kept far enough behind them so that they'd have less chance of knowing that they were being followed. They turned by the freeway construction point and continued on down Coahuila Boulevard. When they got to the corner of Yucca and Coahuila, they made a mistake. They turned left from the wrong lane of traffic. Well, that's it. You want to hit the siren? Yeah. I got the light.
He's going straight down Yucca, Joe.
Yeah. Pull up behind him, huh?
Right.
Okay, he sees us. He's pulling over.
I'll cover the other side.
Watch yourself.
Right.
What's wrong, officer? I didn't do anything.
See your operator's license, please?
Sure, it's in my pocket. I'll get it.
You want to get out of the car, please?
Well, I don't have to get out to show you my driver's
I'd like to have you get out of the car.
Don't argue with him, Red. Do what he says.
What's all this about, anyway? What do you stop me for?
You made an illegal left turn back there at Coahuila.
Illegal? Oh, you got the wrong guy. See that guy in front of me? He jumped the light something awful. He's the guy you ought to be after. He's the one, not me.
All right, move over to the car.
What?
Over by the car. Now put your hands up there. No, against the car.
I don't know what you mean.
Now come off it, Jameson. We meet. All right, Jameson, on your feet.
What are you doing? You got no right to beat him up like that. Big thing for making a left turn. What are you guys trying to prove? Just wait until the papers get this. We got friends, you know.
All right,
big
lady,
friends.
take it easy.
I won't take it easy. Man makes a mistake and you cops act like you were the judges. You got no right to treat a citizen like that.
Here, Frank, you'll hold this.
Yeah. 38 Colt. You play rough, don't you, Red?
Ah, shut up.
What's this, Red?
You leave that alone. That's mine. Doesn't concern you.
Necklace, Joe?
Yeah.
So it's a necklace. What's that prove? You got nothing on us. Write out the ticket for the left turn and let us go. That's all you got.
You got a permit for this gun?
No.
This necklace is stolen. You know that, don't you?
I don't know anything about it. I'm not going to say anything till I see a lawyer. Nothing.
I knew this would happen. Always knew it about you. You're yellow. Willing to take a chance as long as you ain't going to be nailed. Let something go wrong and right away you start screaming for a lawyer. Poor excuse for a man. You took a chance and you lost. Well, don't be a coward about it. You got no excuse. None in the world. You got no excuse at all.
Well, that makes you even, lady.
Huh?
Neither of you.
The story you have just heard is true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On April 15th, trial was held in Department 87, Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of Los Angeles. In a moment, the results of that trial.
Now, here is our star, Jack Webb.
Thank you, George Fenneman. I sure hope you were listening real close to what George Fenneman had to say tonight, because it proves what I always tell you. You can't beat the premium quality you get in Chesterfield, regular or king size. I'd like you to try Chesterfields. They're much milder, and they have a wonderful taste.
Henry Donald Swenson, Anna Catherine Swenson, and May Ruth Jameson were tried and convicted of 5 counts of burglary in the second degree. They received sentence as prescribed by law. Burglary in the second degree is punishable by imprisonment in the state penitentiary for a period of not less than 1 nor more than 15 years. Keith Walter Jameson was tried and convicted for receiving stolen property on 5 counts and received sentence as prescribed by law. Receiving stolen property is punishable by imprisonment in the state penitentiary for a period not to exceed 10 years. Because of his cooperation, Alex Robert Olson received a lighter sentence and was placed on probation. You have just heard Dragnet, a series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice comes from the Office of Chief of Police W.H. Parker, Los Angeles Police Department. Technical advisors Captain Jack Donahoe, Sergeant Marty Wynn, Sergeant Vance Brasher. Heard tonight were Ben Alexander, Stacey Harris, script by John Robinson, music by Walter Schumann. Hal Gibney speaking. For a million laughs, tune in Chesterfield's Martin and Lewis Show, Tuesday on this same NBC station. And sound off for Chesterfield's. Either regular or king size, you'll find premium quality Chesterfield's much milder. Chesterfield is best for you. Chesterfield has brought you Dragnet, transcribed from Los Angeles.
Now, new Fatima has the tip for your lips. Fatima tips of perfect cork. King size for natural filtering. Fatima quality for a much better flavor and aroma. So remember, new Fatima has the tip for your lips. Fatima. See how smooth they are.
Remember, Fatima is made by the makers of Chesterfield, Liggett & Myers, one of tobacco's most respected names.
Novak, for hire.
Sure, I'm Pat Novak, for hire. That's what the sign out in front of my office says. Pat Novak, for hire. Down on the waterfront in San Francisco, billing doesn't mean much. Everybody's got the same act. They're all out to turn a fast buck, and when you're in business down here, everything but murder is a parlor trick. Once in a while, your eyelids get sore from winking it too much, but it's a living. You get to meet the best people in town. There's only one hooker you're liable to wake up some morning dead. Because around the waterfront, you don't need a union card for trouble. It sneaks up and paws you like a wet ghost. I found that out when I met Bruno Weiss. I closed up early Tuesday night, and I went home to catch up on last month's sleep. I don't know how long I was in bed. Must have been about 11 when I woke up. The room was dark and as stale as last year's Christmas candy. I had the goofy feeling that somebody was in the room with me. I was breathing kind of hard, and I stopped to have a listen. Somebody was sitting on my bed. Either that or the landlord had put in an echo. I listened again.
Hello, Novak.
You're mixed up, friend. I pay the rent here.
Get your hands away from the light, Novak. Just be a good boy, and you can collect your old age pension.
Now, look, I'm not crazy about waking up with strangers sitting on my bed, especially if they got baritone voices. Now, say your piece and beat it.
Don't get jumpy, mister. When your eyes get used to the dark, you're going to see a gun about a foot away from your nostrils. I want the keys to your boat, Novak.
Get them in the morning at $25 a smell.
I want them now. Just tell me where they are. I'll do the rest.
Don't get big-hearted.
I don't want chatter and cocktails. I want those keys. Unless you want your face to look like a rump roast, you'll start talking.
The keys are in the bottom drawer of the desk.
That's the boy. Gonna borrow your boat a while. You'll get it back by noon tomorrow. There's the boat keys.
2 of them are. The rest open the front door of the U.S. Mint.
Sorry I can't stay around, Novak. You sound like a card. Sleep tight, Novak. This'll have to do for a lullaby.
He didn't even give me time to pick a dream. I stretched out on the floor as dead as a Philadelphia nightclub. I don't know how long I stayed out of the ball game. Must have been a couple of hours, because when the phone rang, it was past midnight. I reached over to pick it up, but my hands were as steady as a maple leaf in a hurricane, and my head was big enough to sell by the pound. I finally found it in the dark and started talking. Hello?
Hello, Novak. This is Joe Powers down at Pier 19. You awake?
Sure.
Hey, you just sound groggy.
Oh, it's a sedative. What's on your mind?
One of your boats just drifted in. Guess what?
I don't have to. It's smashed up, and you want to offer me $50 salvage.
Hey, that's right, Novak. You're psychic.
I'm a patsy, you mean? Some gunsel borrowed the boat a couple of hours ago. Came in here, told me a bedtime story, and took the keys.
Well, you better hop right down here.
It'll keep, Joe.
No, it won't. Hurry up or you'll run a dead heat with homicide. There's a dead guy in the boat.
Oh, it must be my playmate.
I don't know. He didn't say. But you better grab a cab and get on down here. There's going to be a lot of questions.
Sure. If you need any good answers, save a couple for me. From now on, there was no waste motion. I knew that. If homicide was on the case, that meant Inspector Hellman. Well, he's a real nice guy, if you like his type. I had to do something soon. If I didn't, I'd have about as much chance as a pound of liver at a cat show. So I jumped into some clothes, and I was starting out of the apartment when I missed my wallet. The keys were attached, and that gunsel had taken the whole works. I began to get mad. For $70, you can get a Scotch hangover instead of the kind I had. And if you're lucky, a couple of good memories. So when I drew up at Pier 19, it didn't look like the sunny side of the street. Joe Powers was waiting for me.
You got the first round, Patsy. Homicide hasn't showed yet.
I'm full of luck tonight. Where's the boat?
Oh, right over here.
Lots of fog tonight, huh, Joe?
You're walking on it. Well, that is. How's your insurance, Patsy?
All right, except I'm not carrying any on that dead guy. Who is he, Joe?
I don't know. He's your passenger. You roll him.
All right, give me a hand. No, push him over on the other side, will you, so I can get in the pocket?
Is he the same guy that took the keys?
I don't know. If he is, he never looked lovelier. There's nothing in this pocket. This one's empty except for a comb. He sure spent my $70 in a hurry. Must have thrown in the wallet for a nightcap.
No identification.
We should have bought a scorecard.
Hey, here on the floor. It's a key.
Let me see that, Joe. Room 425, Royal Arms Hotel.
Where is it?
That's a dive down on Turk Street. Well, say hello to homicide for me.
Oh, you're not bright tonight, Novak.
Well, I'm not going to stay around here. They'll pick me up faster than a gin fizz.
Well, what am I going to tell them?
Anything you like, Joe. Shift into freewheeling and let them follow, but I'm not going to hang around for a pinch. I'm one boat and $70 short.
Tell it to homicide.
I don't like manual labor that much. See you later. I started for the Royal Arms Hotel, and on the way, I picked up the only honest guy I know, a bottle baby by the name of Jocko Madigan. He's a good man, except he thinks it's a waste of the taxpayers' money to put alcohol in torpedoes. I hauled him out of the Hunt Room bar, and we walked down the street to the Royal Arms Hotel. It was the perfect spot for a missionary. The lobby looked like the first act of Rain. There was a pinball machine in one corner, a couple of last year's girls in this year's slacks, and a bleary-eyed little night clerk. He looked like a well-groomed laundry bag, and he gave us the fisheye as we started upstairs. Room 425 was down at the end of the hall. Jocko didn't care if we ever got there.
Patsy, we have no business coming up here. We're in search of fool's gold.
We're in search of my $70.
Exactly. I view you as my penance, Patsy, the sackcloth for a misspent life.
If you can shake off that buzz, you'll find out I'm in trouble.
You'll always be in trouble because you're a patsy, and you're dangerous because you move in the twilight zone between good and evil without any predisposition toward either one.
Yeah, all right. Here it is. 425. Nobody home. Let's go in.
It's housebreaking.
Now, look, Jocko, I want my $70. I'm going in.
Patsy, sometimes you terrify me. I think you'd pick the lock to the gates of heaven.
I would if they had my $70. Come on. The guy's dead down in my boat. We won't hurt his feelings. We'll just nose around a minute and get up. It was a pretty room if you like dead women on your rugs. She was stretched out in a pale yellow dressing gown, as quiet as an April morning and twice as pretty. A dull red scar ran across her temple where somebody had laid an iron shovel. She didn't belong in this hotel because she was wearing a necklace and a bracelet that left a gap in somebody's pocket. And from the ringside, she looked all right. Jocko noticed it, too.
She has lots of character.
Yeah, but where's my $70?
She's a nightclub dancer.
How do you know?
Her picture's plastered all over the wall there. She's the headliner at El Palateo, Miss Rita Malloy.
I wonder who the guy on the desk is there.
Boyfriend, probably. Let's get out of here, Patsy.
Oh, wait a minute. How about that dead guy in the boat? Where does he fit in?
I'll listen to that one, Novak.
Oh, Hellman.
What happened to the girl? She die laughing at you?
It's Rita Malloy, a piece of change from the El Palateo.
Uh-huh. Got a hat, Novak?
No.
Then you're all ready. Come on.
Oh, get your brain lined up and look at her. She's been dead a couple of hours.
You're still eligible, Novak. On your way down, you can explain that guy at Pier 19.
Oh, you can't be that dumb, Hellman.
I'm smart enough to see you peeking over the 8-ball. You look like a 10-to-1 shot, Novak, and I got my money on you all the way.
If you're going to make this thing add up, you can't do it alone.
I'll try.
Well, that's what Furpo said. So I don't look good on this one. I'll look worse if I leave it up to you. You couldn't find a hangnail if you knew what hand it was on.
You got 24 hours, Novak. I'm going to piece things together, and then I'm going to make a pinch. Pick out a soft spot.
Yeah?
Yeah. Stay near the phone. If it rings and a man answers, that'll be homicide. Good night.
Hellman was right. I looked like a sure bet for the rotogravure section. I was beginning to run out of silver linings, and I knew it. I didn't have an answer for anything. The guy in the boat was still a stranger, and Rita Malloy was still dead. I was sitting in the middle of a high-stake game with a pair of trays. When we left the hotel room, I had the funny feeling that there was something wrong back there. I didn't know what. I just knew there was something wrong, the way you feel when you pick up the wrong hat and put it on. The position of the body, those pictures on the desk, I didn't know, but there was one detail that didn't set right. Well, I told Jocko to hang around headquarters, and I started for the El Palateo. It was like all the rest. A little melancholy bar on Mason. A fire trap with a cover charge. The decor looked like early Franco. The floor show was on as I fought my way up to the bar. Excuse me, please. I'm sorry, lady. Can I get through here, please? How about a drink?
Your idea. What do you want?
Scotch.
Soda or water?
Water. You got a nice club here.
We like it. 80 cents.
Too bad about Rita Malloy.
Yeah.
You don't seem heartbroken about it.
I'm not a mother. 80 cents.
Anything wrong, Eddie?
No, boss. This guy's crying in his beer about Rita Malloy.
Oh. I'm Manny Ryan.
You own the club?
A piece of it.
My name's Novak. Call me Patsy at the moment. The police think I killed Rita Malloy.
When you go on trial, Mr. Novak?
I don't. That's why I came down here to find out which one of your people killed her.
I see.
She was mixed up to her ears with some thick hoodlum.
You, Mr. Novak?
No, a guy right out of your set. He came rolling in with the tide this morning, playing rigor mortis all over my boat.
Look, Novak, you better go see someone else to tell your troubles to. I'm a busy man.
Yeah, well, so am I, getting out of a murder rap. You knew her, Ryan. In fact, I got an idea you knew her pretty well.
Let's not talk that way about the dead.
Your pictures splattered all over her apartment. Were you engaged to her?
That's one way of putting it.
You better have a big fat alibi ready for tonight. Homicide's going to think you killed her.
I'm betting on you for the finals, Novak. I don't need an alibi. She was a friend of mine.
That's why you need one. People just hate their enemies, but they kill their friends.
You better stay out of the public library, Patsy. They're not smart enough to understand epigrams.
I'm smart enough to find out where you were from 10 o'clock until midnight.
Go ahead. Circle around the club. But keep a drink in your hand. We run for profit.
I didn't get much out of the doorman. He wanted a first mortgage to talk, but one of the busboys opened up. He told me that Ryan and the girl had brawled the night before. Also, that Ryan left the club for about an hour tonight. Well, I put him on the list anyway. But it began to look more and more like a one-horse race. Well, I got one other lead. A clarinet player in the band wanted to harmonize with Rita Malloy, but there wasn't much else to go on. And then I spotted the gal who had taken Rita Malloy's job in the show. She was just finishing her number, and so I followed her back to a dressing room. When she opened the door, I got a nice warm feeling like a melted cheese sandwich, and I was looking around for a rope to hang on. She was pretty. And when she said hello, you knew it was time to send in the varsity.
Good evening.
For some people, you mind if I come in?
It's late in the season. I can't be choosy.
All right. I'm Pat Novak.
I'm Tony Drake. What do I do? Tremble?
Talk, mostly. Did you know Rita Malloy?
Around here, that was an occupational hazard.
The police think I killed her.
Did you?
No. When I got there, they were tearing down the goalposts.
Oh, that's too bad. I'd have been very grateful.
It's something I'd like to try.
Are you switching the topic, Mr. Novak, or have I been in the big city too long?
I just want to know who killed her. You got any ideas?
Nope.
How about your boss?
Maybe. She was getting a little frayed around the edges.
How's his temper?
No worse than a cobra's. He might have done it, but I doubt it.
Anybody else?
He was putting in a little overtime with a thug.
Not a big, porky guy with a deep voice?
I never saw him. I just heard that he was trying.
Must have been quite a line. Anybody else? How about that clarinet player?
No play. He was just a salmon swimming upstream.
I see. Well, do me a favor, will you, Tony?
All right. You only get one, so make it a good one.
They're tailoring me for a trip over the hill unless I show up with a fistful of answers. Now, can you give me a list of all of Rita Malloy's friends?
I can write them all down on a piece of confetti.
I mean, everybody close to her. The people around the club here, the people on the outside. I'll pick it up in a half hour at your apartment.
At my apartment?
Yeah, at your apartment.
All right, don't get sore. I was just inquiring, not complaining.
All right. One other thing, Angel.
Yes, Patsy?
Don't forget to put yourself on that list. Be seeing you. Well, it was good to get out of there. When she started walking towards you, you felt like a shovel full of scrap iron in a Pittsburgh blast furnace. Well, I called up Jocko at headquarters. He didn't seem to be worried about me. He was thirsty. The guy on the boat hadn't been identified yet. The coroner said he died of severe bruises and that Rita Malloy checked out with a fractured skull. I gave Jocko Tony Drake's number, and I started for her apartment. I couldn't have done better with Aladdin's lamp. She had the list and a bottle on hand. I went over the list with her, and then it turned out she had insomnia. The radio was turned down to room temperature. I was working on my fifth drink when the phone rang.
Oh, let it ring, Patsy.
Oh, I better get it, baby.
I think you're a sissy.
No, prison pallor wouldn't look good on me. Hello?
Patsy?
Yeah?
Are you busy?
Well, depends on your point of view. What's up?
I'm not tearing you away from that list of suspects.
Let's have it, Jocko.
They just identified the dead guy on your boat. His name is Bruno Schweiss. He's wanted in Miami, Florida. He's a hired gunman.
Good. Now jump over and see Paul Stangl at the Chronicle Morgue, huh?
I already have. There's no tie-up between Bruno Schweiss and Rita Malloy.
There's gotta be. Those two killings are tied up like ham and eggs.
Hellman just got a report from the Harbor Patrol. They found a buoy knocked out of place. They figure your boat did it and Bruno got killed in the crash.
What does that do to things?
Oh, it clarifies them enormously. This way you're going to hang for only one murder. Good night, lover.
I knew Jocko was right. Hellman could rig me as long as he had only one case to work on. He's a single-celled animal, and this was just about big enough to fit into his brain. Well, I left Tony's apartment, and I walked over to the El Palateo. Must have been about 4 o'clock in the morning. It was still dark enough for me to kick in a back window without being seen. I headed straight for Manny Ryan's office, and I started going through his stuff. It was like trying to separate a ton of salt and sugar dumped in the same bin. I went through most of the drawers, and in the last one, I got a hold of something. I grabbed the phone on Ryan's desk, and I called Hellman. Well, I wasn't sure, but I figured he could try this one on for size anyway.
Police headquarters.
Give me Hellman and Homicide. Yeah. They must have put their best men on his trail because they found him inside a half hour.
Hello, Novak.
I'm in Manny Ryan's office. He owns the El Palateo. I just rifled his desk.
It's a minor offense for you.
I got a hold of last month's phone bill. Guess what?
It's too high.
The office put through 2 calls to Key West, Florida, the last part of this month.
4 o'clock. I'm barely interested. Go ahead.
Bruno's wife's hired out as a gunman. San Francisco is a long way from home plate. That means somebody sent for him.
And you're trying to put the finger on Manny Ryan.
That's right. That silver frame you picked up at Rita Malloy's, take a look at the guy in it. That's her boyfriend, Manny Ryan.
We'll check on it. In the meantime, keep squirming, Novak. You look pretty.
Oh, you're smooth, Hellman.
Smart talk's not going to keep you out of the chair, Novak. Stay handy. We've only got a short extension cord.
Yeah, well... Hello, Hellman. Hello, Lupos? Frank, is Jocko Madigan there? Good, put him on, huh? Hello, Jocko. Now listen, I'm up at Manny Ryan's place. Yeah, that's right. I'm not sure, but I think that Ryan's the... My head must have looked like a jackpot. Everybody in town was hitting it. I rolled over and played dead for about 5 hours. It feels better when you've had a dress rehearsal. I woke up in my apartment. The sun was streaming through the window and hit the bed. I looked like the muslin counter after a sale. It turned out I was the host and didn't know it. Jocko was sitting at the table having breakfast. The bottle was almost half shot.
Good morning. How's the other world?
Can't you leave that stuff alone?
Do you have a headache?
Of course I have a headache.
Well, I haven't, so stop lecturing me.
How'd I get up here?
I dragged you here by the heels. I met all the other hucksters on the way.
All right, stop being funny and help me up, huh?
I am the victim of a common error. You don't like me because I'm not entertaining when I drink. You don't object to my drinking. You object to my lack of wit.
Oh, shut up.
Well, it's discouraging to be condemned on moral principle when it's really a flaw in nature. By the way, I think they're going to arrest you for the murder of Rita Malloy.
What about Ryan?
I've recommended clemency.
All right, come on. What about Ryan?
You bungled it. By the time Hellman got to him, he had an alibi all framed. The calls to Key West could have been made by anybody in the club, and Ryan's covered for the time of the murder.
How about the others?
They look good, too. Your girlfriend, Tony Drake, was gone for a while the night of the murder. Hellman won't bite. She's just sitting there ready to spring an alibi.
That's right. With legs like that, she can dig up a cousin.
You better get worried, Patsy.
I am. The El Palateo is a dead-end street. I don't know where to go from there. That guy Bruno in the boat could help. There's some connection between Bruno's wife and Rita Malloy.
You're the only connection I can think of.
Yeah.
Hello, Novak. This is Hellman.
Yeah?
You were right about Bruno's wife and Rita Malloy. We just went through her safety deposit box.
I'll bet you handled the money.
She had a clipping on Bruno's wife from a Miami paper, 1937.
Go on.
Divorce action between Zweiss and Miss Olga Pryor.
Well, did you look up Olga Pryor?
That's where we run out of gas. Nobody knew her. We have no description.
Well, how about Rita Malloy? Any dope on her before 1937?
I was going to ask you. You were in the room with her when she died, don't you know?
No, I don't.
I'm disappointed. I figured you'd know a little about her habits.
Huh?
You wrote the book, mister. I figured you for an answer.
Yeah, I got one. And you just gave it to me, Hellman.
Huh?
Meet me at the El Palateo in a half hour. Now, if you're a real good boy, I'll tell you who killed Rita Malloy.
Are you going to be there?
Yeah.
That's all I want to know, Novak.
Things were falling into place like a fixed roulette wheel. Right from the first, I knew that there was something goofy about the picture in Rita Malloy's hotel room. I wasn't sure. I just knew I had something in the back of my mind. I didn't tumble until Hellman tipped the mitt. And then everything was cakes and ale. I sent Jocko up to room 425 in the Royal Arms Hotel, and I told him to get a description of every dress in the closet. I checked at the desk, and I got the name of Rita Malloy's cleaners. I ducked over there, and I got a list of every dress that she turned in for 3 months. I met Jocko, and we compared the list of dresses. Well, it jibed fine, except for one thing. There was a missing white dress. It had been to the cleaners before. It wasn't there now, and it wasn't in that hotel room. Well, we went over to the El Palateo to find it. Jocko didn't want to buy the scheme at all.
Patsy, I protest the notion of breaking into a lady's dressing room.
Stop worrying, will you? She's not going to be there.
Then it's futile as well as immodest. Besides, how do you know Rita didn't throw away the dress?
I'll give you better than track odds on that one, Jocko. Here we are. Come on. Now, look, you take the closets and find that white dress. I'm going through the desk for grease paint.
You should be going through a woman's closet. It's more in the nature of things.
Just look, huh? There's enough grease paint here for the whole Iroquois tribe. Did you find anything?
Yes. What's this?
Just look for the white dress, Jocko. Hey, what's that in the corner?
Where?
Over here.
I don't see anything.
Well, down here, look, see?
Oh.
Well. That feels good, doesn't it, Jocko? Like a spell of perfect weather.
Same grease paint?
Well, it won't take us long to check. Here, you open a couple of these jars.
Don't forget your apron, Patsy.
Hello, Tony.
What are you doing?
Getting ready to build a fire under you? You're going to make nice smoke, too.
I liked you better when you were dumb, Patsy. You don't look good with a Ph.D.
Oh, put away the gun, baby. Remember, this is your second trip to the plate.
Give me the dress, Patsy.
It won't fit.
Don't worry about that. Just toss it over by the door here.
I'll do better. I'll bring it.
Stay where you are, Patsy.
It's my ticket out, chum.
You're a good guy, Patsy. Stay out of my way.
It's your role, baby.
Patsy, please stay away from me.
Come on, give me that gun.
Patsy, please.
Give me that gun.
Sorry, Patsy. That's all I could do.
Yeah, sure. You want to take a look at her, Jocko?
Put it down on the floor.
Yeah. What do you say, Jocko?
No dice.
Well, you can't win them all, Tony.
You play too rough, Patsy.
You still got a good batting average, Novak.
Hello, Hellman. You better make a fast pinch.
She do it?
Yeah.
She got kind of clumsy in the last round, didn't she?
Not at all, Copper. They had me coming and going. When you're as far back as I am, they don't pick up the option.
Let's get out of here, Jocko. I'll check with you later, Hellman.
Be a good boy, Patsy. I'm going to miss you. You were getting to be my favorite hobby.
Yeah.
I don't know how you were on the distance stuff, but you were sure something on the sprints.
Yeah. Be nice to her, Copper. She could go in the mud herself. Well, it was blackmail, of course. Tony was once married to Bruno's wife. Rita Malloy found out and started to squeeze Tony. Well, Tony wouldn't buy that, so she killed Rita Malloy in her hotel room. She made one mistake. I didn't tumble until Hellman mentioned a woman's habits. Then I knew what was wrong with that picture back in Malloy's hotel room. It hit me like a discordant note in music. Rita Malloy was lying on the floor in a dressing gown, but she was still wearing her bracelet and necklace. Well, when a woman undresses, she always takes her jewelry off first, and then she takes off her dress. Rita Malloy didn't do that, so I took a flyer and decided that somebody had taken the dress off her and put on a dressing gown. Why? Well, because there was something wrong with the dress. It pointed too much in one direction. Well, it could be a lot of things, but probably grease paint. Tony called Bruno out here. He was supposed to use my boat to dump the body, and when he didn't make it, Tony got scared and lugged away the dress. My $70. Well, it would have looked better on a fixed fight. Well, Hellman asked only one question. How did I happen to know that when a woman undresses, she always takes off her jewelry first? I must have read it somewhere.
The Armed Forces Radio Service has just brought you Pat Novak for Hire, starring Jack Webb. Pat Novak is produced by William P. Russo. Jocko Madigan is played by Tudor Owen. Inspector Hellman is played by Raymond Burr. Music was composed and conducted by Basil Adler. Be with us again next week when over most of these same stations we'll bring you Pat Novak for Hire. Novak for Hire was previously released by ABC, the American Broadcasting Company, for listeners in the United States, and rebroadcast for our men and women overseas. This is the United States Armed Forces Radio Service, the voice of information and education.
Sound off for Chesterfield. Chesterfield is best for you. First cigarette with premium quality in both regular and king size. Chesterfield brings you Dragnet.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned the homicide detail. You get a call from a friend who's been offered $5,000 to kill a man. He can't tell you who made the offer. He does tell you that no matter what happens, the man is going to be killed. Your job? Stop it.
Years ahead of them all.
Chesterfield is years ahead of them all.
The quality contrast between Chesterfield and other leading brands is a revealing story.
Recent chemical analyses give an index of good quality for the country's 6 leading cigarette brands. The index of good quality table, which is a ratio of high sugar to low nicotine, shows Chesterfield quality highest.
Chesterfield quality highest.
15% higher than its nearest competitor.
Chesterfield quality highest.
31% higher than the average of the 5 other leading brands.
Yes, Chesterfield is first, with premium quality in both regular and king size.
Don't you want to try a cigarette with a record like this? Chesterfield.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Monday, February 9th. It was cold in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of homicide detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Lorman. My name's Friday. I was on my way into the office, and it was 7:45 a.m. when I got to room 42. Homicide.
That's you, Joe?
Yep. You're in early, aren't you?
Yeah, I couldn't sleep last night. Dropped off about 3 this morning, then woke up at 5, couldn't get back to sleep. I got up, made some coffee, and decided to come on in the office.
Yeah, I had a little trouble last night, too.
You did?
I mean, yeah.
What's your trouble?
I don't know. I got up late yesterday morning. I guess that was it. I'll get it.
All right.
Homicide, Friday. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember. Johnny. Yeah. Mm-hmm. When'd you get the letter? Yeah, we'll be right over. Right. Bye. You remember that bartender over in that place on 6th Street, fellow named Johnny?
Yeah, is that him on the phone?
Yeah, says he's got an offer to make himself a fast $5,000.
What for?
Somebody wants him to kill a man. 8:10 a.m. Frank and I drove over to John Bronson's apartment. He lived in a new development on Wilshire Boulevard. We checked the nameplates in the lobby of the building, and then we went up to apartment 6B. We rang the bell and waited.
Hiya, Joe, Frank. Come on in.
How are you, John?
Let's say, John.
Kind of early to get you guys over here, but I got worried about it and figured I better talk to you.
Uh-huh. You want to tell us what it's all about?
Yeah, come on out in the kitchen. I got some coffee made.
Okay.
Yeah, sit down there. I'll pour you a cup of coffee.
Fine. Good, thanks.
Well, it started last night. I guess it was about 10:15. Payphone in the bar rang, kept ringing. I went over to answer it. Fellow on the other end asked for Johnny.
Yeah?
Told him it was me, and then he hit me with a deal. At first, I thought he was kidding.
What'd he say?
Well, he asked me if I wanted to make a fast $5,000. Of course, I told him, yeah. Then he sprung the snapper, said he wanted me to kill this guy, a fellow named Wilhelm Ulrich.
You know this Ulrich?
No, never laid eyes on him. First time I even heard the name.
Okay, go ahead, John.
Well, this guy on the phone started to lay it out. Told me how he wanted it done. Here's your coffee.
Thank you.
I asked the joker who he was. He said it didn't matter. All that counted, he said, was that I knock off this Ulrich guy.
Yeah.
I told him I didn't know who the man was, that I didn't know where to get in touch with him to kill him. You know, kind of going along with the gag all this time, thought it was a joke.
Uh-huh.
Well, this fellow on the phone said he'd give me all the dope I had to have, said I'd get it in the mail this morning.
Yeah.
Came special delivery just before I called you, special.
Uh-huh. You got the letter, have you?
Yeah, I got it in the other room. I'll get it for you.
All right, I'll go with you. John, how much have you handled the letter?
Well, I opened it up. I didn't know what was in it.
Mm-hmm.
If I'd have known what it was, I wouldn't have touched it at all, but I didn't know. I looked at it when I found out what was in it and figured I better call you. Couldn't see any way to tell who sent it. Maybe you can when you see it.
Mm-hmm.
When I saw what it was, I didn't touch it anymore.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's see here. Money.
Yeah, 5 $100 bills.
And what's the letter say?
Just a minute. Put this by the edge here. I don't want to... It says, Johnny, here's the down payment. You'll get the rest when you finish the job. And the name is Wilhelm Ulrich. The address is 2192 Vine Street, Hollywood. It's written on a typewriter. No signature. That's it.
Let me see it, one.
Oh, you can see it here.
First off, I thought the whole thing was a joke. I didn't believe it. You know, I just thought it was some drunk trying to be funny. We get calls like that all the time, guys trying to be funny.
Yeah.
And when I got this letter, I got scared. I ain't going to kill nobody, especially somebody I don't even know, not for no 5,000.
Did you recognize the voice on the phone, John?
No, I don't think I ever heard it before.
You got any idea why he called you?
No, I've been clean. I haven't got a record. Nothing like that. I run a clean place. Never done anything that could tie me up with the rackets.
Yeah, we know.
Well, maybe I ran a little booze during Prohibition. Not much, just a little. Everybody was doing it then, but I'm clean now.
Joe, there's a postmark here on the letter. It's mailed in Hollywood.
Yeah, I saw that. We can check the postal authorities on the mailbox number, find out when it was picked up, huh?
Yeah. Time on it here is 11, looks like 11:45 last night. That's the time.
Uh-huh. You sure that you don't know Ulrich, John? Possible that he's been in your bar sometime, maybe, huh?
Well, that'd be hard to say. We do a good business. Lots of people come in I don't know. You know, just come in once in a while. I wouldn't know who they were. They keep quiet, and I ain't getting nosy.
Yeah. Well, we're going on back to the office. You'll probably hear from the caller again, Johnny, and as soon as you do, you let us know, will you?
You going to see this Ulrich fellow?
Yeah, we'll talk to him. Might be better if you don't say anything about this to anybody, John.
Oh, don't worry. I won't.
Okay, we'll be talking to you later. You be at the bar?
Yeah, I'll be there at 4.
Okay. Thanks a million.
No strain. Glad to do it. Can't get over it, that guy calling and making an offer like that. I just can't get over it. He should know better than that.
Yeah?
Sure, yeah, I don't know. Somebody ain't going to kill somebody they don't even know.
We drove back to the city hall and turned the letter over to the crime lab to see if they could find any physical evidence to help us identify the writer. We ran the name Wilhelm Ulrich through R&I, and we found no record. A further check on the name, and we came up with one possibility. The address listed on the report was the same as the one given in the letter. We pulled the package and checked it.
Let's take a look at it.
All right. Well, let's see. There's a crime report and a statement here. Report from Georgia Street Receiving Hospital.
Well, what's the date on that?
January 2nd last year. Yeah. Well, it seems this Ulrich got a hold of some poison wine.
Wine?
Yeah.
Hey, wait a minute.
Yeah?
You remember Joe? He was an old guy. He was a German. He got a bottle of wine for Christmas and opened it New Year's Day. We worked that case with LaMonica and Galindo.
Oh, sure, I remember now, yeah. We ran down some of the leads for him. They didn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
That was the one where he didn't know where the wine came from, isn't it?
Yeah. Nothing came from it. The leads didn't go anyplace.
As I remember, he's a nice old guy. Wonder why somebody's after him.
I don't know. Last time we couldn't find anybody with a motive.
Well, there's one someplace. We'd helped investigate an attempted poisoning of Wilhelm Ulrich over a year ago. Somebody'd sent him a bottle of imported wine. Ulrich had opened the wine for dinner on New Year's and had drunk some of it. A short time later, he was seized with violent stomach cramps. He was rushed to Georgia Street Receiving Hospital for treatment. He was then transferred to the county hospital for further treatment. Examination of the remaining wine showed that it had been dosed with a quantity of poison. Fortunately, Ulrich didn't drink much of the poisoned wine, and he recovered. Detectives Joe LaMonica and Danny Galindo had handled most of the investigation. We'd helped them briefly in checking out some of the leads that they'd gotten. We checked with them again on the case. From the crime report, we got a list of the people that the two officers had interviewed. We checked with them, and they gave us as much personal information as they could. 1:15 p.m. We drove out to see Wilhelm Ulrich. We found him in the yard digging in a rose bed.
No, I can't understand it. I never quite believed that about the wine, sir.
Well, why do you say that, Ulrich?
Well, I found it hard to believe in my heart that anyone would want to do me harm. I have no enemies. No one that hates me enough to want to kill me, I'm sure of that.
Well, I'm afraid you could be wrong about that, Ulrich.
The officer said that before. Somehow, though, I just can't believe it. I've nothing anyone would want to kill me for. All of the people I know are my friends. We all get along.
Yes, sir.
Look at that. Isn't that a beautiful rose? Such loveliness.
Mm-hmm.
No? I'm sorry, officers. You're mistaken about this.
I wonder if we could talk to you in the house, sir.
Yes, that might be better. I could make you a cup of hot tea if you'd like.
No, sir, thanks. Just the same.
Have you officers had lunch yet?
Yes, sir, thank you.
Oh, thought maybe you'd like a sandwich. Just got some liverwursts from a little place downtown. German, excellent food.
Mm-hmm.
Here, I'll get the door. Just sit down any place. I have to get the dirt off my shoes. Martha would be very angry if I tracked dirt around.
Martha, that's your daughter, isn't it?
Yes. She comes over every couple of days and straightens up the house for me. Wonderful girl, Martha. I don't know what I'd do without her.
Yes, sir. Now, there's a couple of things we'd like to ask you.
Certainly. Anything I can do to help.
Well, we'd like to go over the information on the report here.
Is that from the last time? The time of the wine?
Yes, sir, that's right.
All right. You just ask anything you want. I've got nothing to hide.
All right, sir. We checked the crime report you filled out last year. Now, has anything changed in your family since then?
No. You gentlemen still working on that?
Well, yes, sir. We have another matter to discuss here.
Oh, there's one thing that has changed.
What's that, sir?
The part here about me running the business.
Mm-hmm.
That's changed. I still run it in a way. I still supervise it, but Robert, he actually runs it.
Oh, Robert. You mean this name here, Robert Davis?
Yes, he's my son-in-law, Martha's husband. He takes care of the business now. He's a good boy. Martha's lucky to have him.
How long has your son-in-law been running the business, Mr. Ulrich?
Well, let me see. It's been about 8, 9 months. He took over right after I got out of the hospital. He's done wonders with it, wonders.
How's that, sir?
Modernized it, changed it all around. Had one of those efficiency experts come in and study the people. Time and motion men, I think they call them.
Mm-hmm.
They come in with a stopwatch and look at the people doing the work and figure out how long it should take them to do a certain job, and then they plan how the job can be done faster and cheaper. Wonderful thing, big changes.
Yes, sir. I don't want you to take offense at this, Ulrich, but how are the relations between you and your son-in-law?
I don't think I understand.
Well, you get along. You have any quarrels, disagreements?
Oh, no, Robert and I never disagree. I found out that it didn't pay to argue with him.
Sir?
I found out that it didn't pay. He was always right.
Uh-huh.
Yes, you see, we had a few arguments when he took over the business about this time and motion study thing.
I see. You want to tell us about these arguments?
They weren't anything serious. I didn't think that it was a good idea to change. I couldn't see any reason for it. Everything was going good. The business was making money. Everybody seemed to be happy. I didn't want to take a chance disturbing a good thing. You know, the golden goose.
Mm-hmm. You want to go ahead, please?
Well, Robert said that we were behind the times, that if we didn't do something about it, we wouldn't be able to compete with other people. We manufacture women's dresses, you know.
Yes, sir, I saw that on the report.
I finally told him to go ahead. I thought that he'd fail. He didn't. Now we compete. More dresses, more money. The employees are happy. They have music, coffee times. They like it. But it's all changed. I don't go down there anymore. I don't care much for it. It's changed. So I just stay home and work in the garden. It's Robert's factory now.
You and Robert haven't had any other disagreements, have you?
Oh, no. He's a fine young man, running the business very well. He's a good boy. I'm lucky to have him.
Well, how about your competitors, Mr. Ulrich? How do they feel about this change in the way you operate your business? They resent it?
Oh, no, I haven't really got any competitors. The big manufacturers don't care. I don't make enough dresses to bother them, and the other little men are in the same boat with me. They're too busy running the factories to worry about me.
Mm-hmm. Now, can you think of anybody who might want to do a thing like this? How about that phone call?
I told you before, I can't. I find it very hard to believe.
Well, we'll have to talk to the people that you know, the people around you. We'd appreciate it if you didn't tell anybody what we were after.
If you want it that way, it's so hard to believe. I still think you're wrong. Looks like it's going to rain. Be good for the flowers. It's been dry up in the valley. Farmers need the rain.
Yes, sir. Now, you'll go along with us on this thing, will you? Not tell anybody about it?
Sure, I'll help. It's all right if I tell my daughter and son-in-law about it, isn't it?
Well, it'd be better if you didn't say anything to him or your daughter, not to anybody.
They're going to see you here. They're going to ask questions. They're not stupid.
Yes, sir, you could tell them that we were asking about somebody that you employ. How'll that be?
What do I say if Robert asks what it's about? I have no secrets from him.
Well, tell him we ask you not to tell anybody about it. Tell him it's police business. Happens all the time.
I suppose I could do that, but I don't like it. I don't like it at all. It's lying.
Yes, sir, that may be true, but it's the best way.
Oh, I guess it's a small lie. I can tell myself that. It's a small lie.
Well, we'll have some policemen come out and watch Mr. Ulrich until we find the person who's doing this.
Do you have to do that?
Yes, sir, I'm afraid so.
Well, no, I don't like that at all. Even worse than the lying. No, I don't like it at all.
Mr. Ulrich, I wonder if you really understand that when we ask you not to tell anybody about this, when we want to keep you under surveillance, it's just for your protection.
But if what you say is true, if somebody really does want to kill me, if somebody hates me that much...
Yes, sir?
Can you stop them?
We called the office and had a team of men sent out to keep Wilhelm Ulrich under surveillance. His house and his person were to be watched 24 hours a day until we apprehended the person or persons who wanted him killed. We spent the rest of the afternoon talking to the people in the neighborhood. From all of them, we got the same story. Ulrich was liked and respected through the area. All of the local shopkeepers and their business associates told us that he paid cash for everything he bought and that his credit was good. He was active in the local flower club and had twice in the past served as president of the organization. The neighbors confirmed what Ulrich had told us about his family. His son-in-law and his daughter seemed to be devoted to the elderly man and were constantly trying to get him to sell the house he lived in and come to live with them. 6:42 p.m. We returned to the office.
Man, it's really coming down, huh?
Yeah, it sure is.
You got a raincoat in your locker?
Yeah, I got one of those plastic kind in the bag.
Oh, yeah, I want to get me one of them. I'll get mine. We'll go over and check the son-in-law. You got his address?
Yeah, it's a place out on Ivar.
Sure was a nice old man, huh?
Yeah, he seems to be. So you want to grab my coat, I'll get the phone.
Yeah, I'll get it.
Thank you. Homicide Friday. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah, John. When? Yeah. No, we'll be right over. Right away. You bet. Frank.
Yeah?
Call from the bartender, Johnny.
Yeah?
Says he just got another phone call. Person told him that he'd gotten the down payment for the job and he wanted to know why Ulrich hadn't been killed.
Yeah.
Guy said if Johnny didn't get on it, the money wouldn't do him any good. Told him to make up his own mind.
Uh-huh.
Either he makes good on the job or they'll kill him.
You are listening to Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action.
Chesterfield is best for you. Listen to Chesterfield's record.
For a full year and 2 months, a doctor has been making regular examinations of a group of Chesterfield smokers, and he reports no adverse effects to the nose, throat, and sinuses from smoking Chesterfields.
Don't you want to try a cigarette with a record like this? Chesterfield. First with premium quality in both regular and king size. Chesterfield. First choice with Young America. And that's from a survey of 274 colleges and universities. Try Chesterfield's today. Remember, Chesterfield is America's best cigarette buy.
7:10 p.m. We got to the bar on 6th Street. There were only a couple of people in the place. The bartender, Johnny, told us of the phone call that he'd received. He said that the person on the phone had told him that if he didn't hurry up and kill Ulrich, Johnny himself would be taken care of. We called Lee Jones at the crime lab to ask him if he'd been able to come up with anything on the letter. He told us that there was no way of tracing it. Fingerprints found on the letter were those of the bartender. Photographs were taken of the letter, and along with the money, it was booked for further evidence. We'd gotten in touch with the postal authorities, and they said that they'd give us assistance. They gave us the location of the box where the letter had been mailed, and they said they'd try to find out who sent it. We arranged for a stakeout on the bar, and then we called the men at Ulrich's home. They told us that the son-in-law, Davis, and Ulrich's daughter had been there, but that no one else had seen or spoken to the elderly man. 9:32 p.m., Frank and I drove out to check on Robert Davis. We got to the apartment house and rang the bell to the manager's room.
Yes?
Miss Franklin?
Yes, what is it?
Police officers, ma'am. We'd like to talk if we could.
Oh, well, I suppose it's all right. Come on in.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
This is my partner, Frank Smith. My name's Friday.
What is it you wanted to see me about?
Oh, we'd like to talk to you about one of your tenants, please.
Oh? Which one? I bet I can guess.
Ma'am?
It's about that couple on the 5th floor, isn't it? The Radcliffes. It's them, isn't it?
No, ma'am, it isn't. We'd like to talk to you about a Robert Davis and his wife.
The Davises?
Yes, ma'am.
Why, never thought it. Should be the Radcliffes, the way they carry on. The Davises. I'd never have thought it. What do you want to know about them?
Well, it's just a routine investigation, ma'am. Can you tell us how long they lived here?
Well, see now. It's been almost 6 years. They've been in the building, Yeah, 6 years, anyway. I haven't always lived in the same apartment, though.
Ma'am?
When they moved in, they was in a little apartment on the 2nd floor, living room, a pull-down bed, little bitty place. And then they moved up to the 6th floor, 2-bedroom, nice place. Nice people. The Davises, oh, I'd never have thought it.
Do they have any close friends in the building, would you know?
Well, not Mr. Davies. He's kind of the quiet type. Never has much to do with anybody. He keeps to himself.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Mrs. Davis, that's a different thing. She's a living doll. She's nice to everybody and so sweet. Never had a harsh word for anybody. Always a smile. I think Mr. Davis thinks he's too good for anybody. He always seems kind of snooty.
Yes, ma'am. Do you ever have any arguments with anybody in the building that you might know of?
Well, he's had a few arguments like everybody else does. Like I said before, he thinks he's too good for anybody. He thinks he's better than anybody. He's got no right to either.
Ma'am?
Why, he owes half the people in the neighborhood money. Way behind his bills. Owes me a couple of months' rent. Never seems to be able to pay anybody he owes. I talked to the milkman, owes him for a month back. Every time he asks for his money, Davis tells him to come back and stop hounding him. Can't understand it. Seemed like such nice people when they moved in. 2 years ago, that's when the trouble started.
Uh-huh. It was our understanding that he had a pretty good job. Is that
And
right?
he has. Works for his father-in-law, manages some kind of a factory. Dresses, I think. Oh, but that isn't it. He makes enough money. He just spends it faster than he makes it, that's all. I think he gambles.
Why do you say that, ma'am?
Oh, he's always going off on some kind of business trip. At least that's what he says it is, but I know different.
Yes, how's that, ma'am?
Well, he'd come back from one of those business trips once. Cab pulled up, and it just happened that I was standing out in front. A driver got out and gave him the bill for the cab, all the way from the airport. Almost $6. Well, anyway, when Mr. Davis got the money out of his pocket to pay the cab bill, a chip fell on the sidewalk. He didn't think that I saw it, but I did. The cab driver did, too.
Well, what kind of a chip was it, ma'am?
Well, you understand, I'm not a gambling woman, so I wouldn't know. But the cab driver, he knew. Oh, you just betcha, he knew right away. He picked up the chip and handed it back to Mr. Davis and said something about being in Las Vegas, kind of kidding, you know.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I've seen Mr. Davis get upset, but never like that. He grabbed the chip away from the cab driver and told him to mind his own business. Said that he'd had the chip a long time, that it didn't concern the cab driver. He was real mean.
Uh-huh.
And then at night, well, the argument that he and the missus had, I never in all my days heard anything like that.
Well, what happened, ma'am?
Well, you understand that I just happened to be in the hall. I was making sure that the lights on the floor were all on. Those bulbs are always burning out, and I was checking them, you know.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, anyways, I hear this argument coming from the Davises' apartment. Mrs. Davis is telling how she isn't going to stand for it anymore. Mr. Davis better settle down and get to work and stop this foolishness. She didn't come right out and say what foolishness, but I could tell. It was his gambling, that's what it was.
Yes, ma'am. Is there anything else that you could think of that you could tell us about the Davises?
No, I don't think so. I'm kind of surprised, though. I don't like him, but I never thought that he'd have the police after him.
Well, we're just conducting a routine investigation, Miss Franklin.
Oh, now, you don't have to play cagey with me. I know about you, policeman. You and your routine investigations. You ain't fooling me. You want him for something. Now, what is it? Can you tell me?
Ma'am, it's just police business, just routine. We'd appreciate it if you didn't say anything to anybody about us being here.
Oh, sure, I'll go along with you. I won't tell a soul, not a living soul.
Thank you very much, Miss Franklin. I'm going to leave you our card. We'd appreciate it if you give us a call if anything comes up.
Uh-huh. Michigan 5211, is that right?
Yes, ma'am. You just ask for the homicide division. It's written down.
All right, you just bet I will. Now, I'd be glad to help. I'm just glad to.
All right, fine.
One thing, though.
Yes, ma'am?
Are you sure there ain't nothing that you want those people on the 5th floor for? The Radcliffes?
From the manager's office, we called the Ulrich home. We talked to Mr. Ulrich. He told us about the visit that afternoon from the Davises. He said that he hadn't told Robert Davis anything about the threats on his life. We went upstairs and talked to Davis. We told him that we had a serious matter to discuss with him, and we asked him to accompany us down to the city hall.
I don't know what you're talking about. I told the police everything I know about this a year ago. I don't know anything about it. Wish I could help, but I can't. You know, this has got me worried.
Well, if you haven't done anything wrong, you got nothing to worry about.
I haven't done anything wrong.
In here.
Go ahead. All right. Now tell me what this is all about.
Frank?
Yeah.
You want to check the office, see if we got any answers to the calls this afternoon?
Right.
You got a cigarette?
Yeah. Help yourself.
Well, let's get to it, huh? I gotta get home and get some sleep. I got a rough day tomorrow.
This won't take very long. How do you get along with your father-in-law?
All right, why?
Like to know?
Well, I don't see how that concerns you, but you asked, so I'll tell you. We get along fine, me and the old man. We get along just great. Does that make you happy?
That's not the point. Anything?
No, nothing new.
You go over to Las Vegas much, Davis?
Not much. Why?
How often would you say you went over there?
Maybe a couple times a year, not any more than that.
When was the last time?
What's so important about when I was in Vegas last? You guys spent a little more time finding out who's trying to kill my father-in-law, less time asking questions that don't make any sense. You'd be doing a better job.
What can you tell us about somebody trying to kill your father-in-law?
All I know is what he told me this afternoon.
What did he tell you?
Not much. Said something about a bartender, something about a phone call.
Did he tell you who the bartender was?
No, just that it was someplace over on 6th.
All right, Davis, come off it, huh?
What do you mean, come off it?
You want to tell us why you did it, or do you want us to tell you?
Did what? I got nothing to tell you. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
We talked to your father-in-law this morning. We told him that we'd gotten a report that his life had been threatened. We didn't tell him how it happened. We didn't tell him where our information came from, so he didn't know.
All right, so maybe I got it someplace else.
Oh, wait a minute. You couldn't have. We didn't talk to anybody else.
Well, I heard it someplace. I don't remember, but I heard it.
We checked around, found out you gamble quite a lot. You're a steady loser. You owe a lot of money in town, don't you?
Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Now, I think we can make you for the threat on Ulrich's life. I don't think we'll have any trouble at all. You had the motive. You had the opportunity. First thing in the morning, we'll check with the factory. We'll see if you made a withdrawal of $500. We make that, and you've got big trouble.
You figure you're going to be able to do that?
We think so, yeah. We'll get your father-in-law down here and ask him what he told you this afternoon. Find out if he did tell you about that bartender, about the bar on 6th, about the phone call. You know, it doesn't look like there's going to be too much trouble making you for this.
Save your time.
What do you mean?
You don't have to go through that thrash. I did it. I tried to have the old man knocked off.
Were you the one who sent him the wine last year?
Yeah. That's when it started. I started to gamble. Lost a lot of money. Couldn't pay it back. No way to pay it back. Guys I owed the money to were leaning on me. I had to pay them off. Had to.
Yeah.
I could only think of one way, get rid of the old man.
Didn't you get a pretty good salary out of working for him?
Yeah, pretty good, but it didn't go far, not far enough. I tried to win it back, make good on the losses I had. I couldn't do it. The more I gambled, the worse it got. I just couldn't do it. Wasn't any other way. No other way. I decided to kill the old man. It's the only way. Can't you see that? It's the only way I could get clear.
Yeah.
I figured if I could get rid of the old man, I'd have everything fixed. Everything would be okay. Guess it worked out all right anyway.
What do you mean?
Well, there's nothing in the book they can throw at me. He's still alive. I didn't kill him. Who got hurt?
You did.
Well, how do you figure? I didn't kill him.
You're going to jail for trying.
The story you have just heard is true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On June 18th, trial was held in Department 89, Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of Los Angeles. In a moment, the results of that trial.
And now, here is our star, Jack Webb.
Thank you, George Fenneman. I want to thank all of you for your interest in Dragnet. Thanks very much for your letters. We really appreciate them, and we'll try to keep right on giving you the kind of a show that you like. I want to thank all of you, too, who have switched to Chesterfields. I know you're going to like them, and I know you'll find they're best for you. Now, you folks who haven't tried Chesterfields, I'd like you to pick up a carton tomorrow. Chesterfield. It's a great smoke.
Robert Walter Davis was tried and convicted of attempted homicide. He received sentence as prescribed by law. Attempted homicide is punishable by imprisonment in the state penitentiary for a period of not less than 20 years. You have just heard Dragnet, a series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice comes from the Office of Chief of Police W.H. Parker, Los Angeles Police Department. Technical advisors Captain Jack Donahoe, Sergeant Marty Wynn, Sergeant Vance Brasher. Heard tonight were Ben Alexander, Vic Perrin. Script by John Robinson. Music by Walter Schumann. Hal Gibney speaking.
For a million laughs, tune in Chesterfield's Martin and Lewis show Tuesday on this same NBC station. And sound off for Chesterfield's. Either regular or king size, you'll find premium quality Chesterfield's much milder. Chesterfield is best for you.
Chesterfield has brought you Dragnet, transcribed from Los Angeles.
Now, new Fatima has the tip for your lips. Fatima tips of perfect cork. King size for natural filtering. Fatima quality for a much better flavor and aroma. So remember, new Fatima has the tip for your lips. Fatima. See how smooth they are.
Remember, Fatima is made by the makers of Chesterfield, Liggett & Myers, one of tobacco's most respected names.
Tonight, it's Adventure with Barry Craig on NBC.
My name's Jeff Regan. I get 10 a day in expenses from a detective bureau run by a guy named Lyon, Anthony J. Lyon. I'm the Lion's Eye.
With Jack Webb as Jeff Regan, Investigator, stand by for hard-boiled action and mystery and thrilling adventure in tonight's story of the Diamond Quartet.
Well, this is the way it started. Melody called about 6 o'clock that night. She gave me the name of a restaurant out on the strip and said that Lyon was waiting for me. I drove out there and found him squatting at one of the corner tables. He had a big white napkin tucked under all of his chins, and he was working on a plate of crab louis and a bottle of beer. A tall peroxide blonde in slacks and dark glasses was sitting across from him, watching him eat. And a couple of bald-headed waiters were just sort of standing around looking at the ceiling.
Well, Regan, I see you got my message. You're right on time. Sit down. I want you to meet Miss, what did you say your name was, young lady?
Madge will do. Just plain Madge, fatso.
Regan, this is Madge.
I hate gumshoes. They all stink.
Okay, where'd you find her?
Madge? Madge works for Mr. Daly, Mr. Pete Daly. He's a new client of ours. Isn't that right, Madge?
All gumshoes are nosy. That's why I don't like them.
Madge is going to drive you out to Mr. Daly's residence, Regan.
Who's Daly?
Very nice chap. I spoke with him on the phone.
What's the job?
Well, it's a rather delicate matter, and I think Mr. Daly himself can explain it better than I.
Come on, all this gassing ain't getting us nowhere. The boss is waiting. Gumshoes talk too much.
Yes, Regan, yes. I told Mr. Daly you'd be there by 7 o'clock. You just run along with Madge here and see what it's all about.
Let's drift.
Nice to have met you, Madge.
Ah, dry up, fatso.
Yeah, good. Call me, Regan. Call me if you run into any trouble.
Just plain Madge, who was carrying a .25 automatic in her purse. When we got into a Cadillac, we went out the pass, turned off a hill and back of Burbank. Daly's residence was at the end of a private road, a nice old Southern-style place with 2 or 3 private patrolmen guarding the entrance. They all needed shave. They kind of nodded when we got out of the car and went up to the front door. Naturally, there was a peep shutter there. It was real Southern.
Yeah? It's me, Felix. This is the private peeper the boss wants to see.
Okay, miss.
Come on this way.
Who is it?
Madge, I got your peeper. Inside. Here he is, Pete. Flat feet and all. His name's Regan.
Okay, Madge, that's all. Beat it. Sit down, Regan, sit down. Don't mind Madge. She's kind of antisocial.
Nice place you got. How's the gross?
Yeah, I do all right. 2 crap tables, 2 faro games, a little roulette in the living room, but I have to be careful.
I noticed that driving up.
There's lots of money thrown around here every night. Somebody might get some ideas. You know how it is.
What about the law?
Law? No trouble with them. I just don't let them know I'm in operation.
Mm-hmm.
In my business, I haven't much use for private detectives. I don't generally like them.
Neither does Madge.
But I happen to need one right now. I want you to do a little job for me.
You seem to have plenty of help around here. Wasn't that Felix Frazier at the door there? Last time I saw him, he was shadowing a banker up in Sacramento.
Yes, that was Felix, all right, but it's a little different. Yeah. Never seen this before? No? Well, it's a little bit of necklace called the Diamond Quartet. It's worth quite a chunk of cash. These 4 diamonds are good stuff.
So?
Dame named Annabella Callender left it here a week ago. She was in kind of deep at the roulette table and was wearing this. She left it for security.
How much did she lose?
About 5 G's, I guess. Kind of screwy little dame. She's a widow with a lot of money and a boyfriend named Teddy Silco. He paints or something. They come here.
And she loses steady.
Every time. Well, she sent me a check today for the full amount of what she lost.
Yeah?
And I want you to take this thing back to her tonight.
That it?
That's it. I got my dough. She gets her little diamond necklace back. Just business.
Well, it sounds simple.
It's simple. You're a licensed investigator, bonded, insured. Don't want any fuss about this. You just take it back. Very simple.
Okay. Now, you told me how simple it all is. Suppose you give me the hook. Did her check bounce?
You want a drink? There wasn't any check.
I thought it'd be something like that.
Yeah. She called me a couple hours ago, said if I didn't have this thing back by tonight, she'd call a load of cops and come out and get it.
Not such a dumb dame at that.
As you're telling me. If she comes here with cops, I'm closed for the season, and this dump cost me a pile of dough. Felix was running the roulette table that night. I didn't know he'd taken this as security until we counted up. I should have pushed his mush in or something. Letting a dame like that make a setup.
Maybe you'll do better next time.
Ain't gonna be no next time, Regan. Here's her address. Here's the ice. Just take it to her, and I'll chalk it up to experience.
You better get yourself a new boy at that table.
Yes, you're telling me. You're telling me.
Well, I took a taxi over to the restaurant in Hollywood, picked up my Buick, and drove to an apartment house near Pico and Beverly Drive. A couple of men in a little gray coupe were sitting in front of the building smoking cigarettes and pulling on their hat brims. I figured Daly was making sure I got the right address. Upstairs on the 5th floor, I leaned into the buzzer and waited to see what Mrs. Annabella Callender looked like.
Oh, Teddy, I thought you'd never get here. The performance begins at 8:15, and you know the traffic. Oh, you aren't there.
You Annabella Callender?
Of course. Who are you?
My name's Regan.
Oh, Miss Regan. Well, I'm only waiting for Ted to get here so we can make first curtain of the Biltmore. We're seeing Carousel, and we're going to be late if he doesn't get here. You can understand that.
Yeah, it figures.
And I'm all ready, and he hasn't shown up. Well, good night.
Yeah. Her white ermine cape and the black strapless thing needed a touch. But she had it. That necklace I had in my pocket, or a very good copy, was hanging around her neck, and it looked like 4 Klieg lights at a Hollywood premiere.
Lay off. You bust the door. Lay off. the idea? You want to bust down the door? You drunk or something?
I've been pounding on this door for 5 minutes.
Well, that's too bad. Can't you read the signs? This building's closed. The scram, drift, push off, blow.
You got a jeweler in this building named Tartaglia?
Yeah, we got a jeweler named Tartaglia. Only don't want to see nobody because it's 9 o'clock at night. The joint's closing, ain't here.
All right, slow down. He lives someplace, don't he?
Sure. There's a lot of houses that way. Why don't you try knocking on doors?
There wasn't any residence listed in the phone book. I thought maybe if I came down here to his office, you could tell me where I might see him.
I ain't going to tell you nothing.
Look, I'm a private investigator. I got to see him tonight.
Oh, how's little old expense account, Pilgrim?
It'll do.
Let me see, pal. The name's Freddie Leach. Your boy's a fat old pile of blubber with a lot of talk in this note. White Hotel, 208, 3 blocks straight ahead.
Thanks, Freddie.
Anytime, pal. Brother Sawbuck, I'll tell you where his girlfriend lives.
Well, come in, Mr. Regan. Come in. You find me a bit indisposed at this hour. I was preparing to retire, but you said it was a matter of jewelry. Therefore, Bert Tartaglia is at your service. Now then, sir, what is so urgent?
I came to see you about a diamond necklace. I found your name stamped on the inside.
House of Tartaglia, most respected name in diamonds as in all the lapidary arts. Most respected. I'm the last of 4 sons. All... But... Continue, Mr. Regan.
Take a look at this.
And how do you come into possession of the Diamond Quartet, sir?
A man named Daly, who runs a gambling club, hired me to take it back to a lady named Callender.
Gambling house? And how did Mr. Daly acquire it?
She lost it at the roulette table. She left it so she could raise the cash.
Deplorable conduct on her part. Annabella Callender, a very indiscreet young lady, to be sure. Lovely body, propelled by a ridiculous mind.
I tried to take it back to her tonight.
It's beautiful, isn't it, Mr. Regan? Beautiful.
I want to know if it's real or not.
Real? Of course it's real.
You sure?
Mr. Regan, do you doubt my ability as a gemologist? Once in a lifetime, sir, only once in a lifetime does an artisan have the opportunity to create the perfect necklace.
How much will it pull?
Priceless in the amount of work. Roughly $65,000. See, here, under the light. See how carefully each stone is mounted. Without reservation, I pronounce the Diamond Quartet an incomparable masterpiece.
Well, I saw one just like it tonight.
Huh? I didn't quite follow you, sir. No one could create another Diamond Quartet except Bert Tartaglia.
Well, and somebody made up a pretty good imitation.
The finest workman at best would create only a crude resemblance. This kind of work demands an artist, Mr. Regan, an artist.
But it could get by.
Oh, to the unpracticed eye, yes. To the layman, perhaps, yes.
Mm-hmm. That's all I wanted to know.
Later in Anguis Herba, eh?
What was that?
Latin. A snake in the grass, eh?
Maybe.
Your expression tells me you are concerned for the safety of this piece. I have a safe here in my room, if you'd care.
No, it'll be all right.
Well, then, you leave satisfied, I trust.
Yeah, thanks.
Think nothing of it, Mr. Regan. Think nothing of it. Just remember the House of Tartaglia when you want fine jewels. Good evening, sir.
In the lobby, I got 2 3-cent stamps from the clerk. He watched me put the Diamond Quartet in an envelope, address it to myself, and mail it right there. He blinked a couple of times, but I didn't tell him about my 2 pals parked across the street in the little gray coupe. They were sitting there, still sucking on cigarettes and pulling on their hat brims. When I walked outside, they got out of the coupe, came over to where I was lighting a cigarette. The tall one tapped me on the shoulder.
Here's the paper, Georgie. Want to ask him for a match? Georgie's nearsighted.
That's too bad.
That's him, Danny. Got a match, Peeper? Georgie asks if you got a match, Peeper. He's a dummy, Georgie. Don't talk.
Got a match, Peeper?
But I tell you, he's a dummy.
You don't look like no dummy.
Why, he's a dummy, all right, ain't you, Peeper? See, he's a dummy, Georgie. I told him about you being nearsighted, and he said it was too bad. Didn't you, Peeper?
He still don't talk.
Go on, Peeper. Tell Georgie how sorry you are about him being nearsighted. I told you he was a dummy, Georgie.
How private eyes like you?
Georgie asked you a question. He wants to know if all private eyes is like you.
Danny boy says you're a dummy. You're a dummy?
Georgie asked you another question. He wants to know if you're a dummy. See, no answer.
I don't like dummies.
We asked 3 questions already, and he ain't said nothing. That makes him a dummy.
Maybe we'd find something if we went through the dummy's pockets.
Yeah, even a dummy's got pockets. Ain't that right, dummy? Hold it, Georgie.
Hey, move just like a dummy.
What do you want?
Hey, talk.
Yeah. Make him talk again, Georgie. Oh. Make him talk bigger, Georgie. Oh. Talks real nice, but he don't say much. Maybe he's tough, Georgie.
He might think he's tough. But then again... You see? That's a tough.
Now it's my turn.
Hey. You don't talk no more, Danny.
This peeper ain't no pretty picture, Georgie. Why you want to hold him up?
You are listening to the story of the Diamond Quartet, tonight's adventure with Jeff Regan, Investigator. 29,000 nurses are needed now to join the new Army Nurse Corps Officers Reserve. For the first time in history, qualified nurses are given the opportunity of receiving a commission in the regular Army Reserve. These nurses will remain on inactive status, ready to serve their country in the event of an emergency. 4,000 of them, if they wish, may choose active duty. Inactive reserve status will not interfere with the nurse's civilian life, but the educational opportunities offered her by the Army Medical Department will be of a great advantage to her in her work. So don't wait. If you're a registered graduate nurse between the ages of 21 and 45, drop a card now for complete information to the Adjutant General, Washington, D.C. And now, back to the story of the Diamond Quartet and Jeff Regan, Investigator.
Regan, can you hear me, Regan? Nurse, are you sure he's coming too?
He had quite a beating, Mr. Lyon, but he's coming around.
Regan, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Regan, can you hear me?
I think he's with us now.
It's me, Regan. What happened to you? Why didn't you call? Regan, do you understand me?
What's this?
That's your head, and it isn't very pretty, let me tell you that.
I'll be at my desk, Mr. Lyon.
All right. Come on, give it to me. What happened? An hour ago, the receiving hospital telephones me that they picked you up in some gutter. I come down to see what's what, and you lay there and ask me, what's this?
Well, it's a wrong job. Another punk client.
As long as they've got the dough, we love them all. Who are you fighting with?
A couple of boys named Danny and Georgie.
A couple of boys named Danny and Georgie. Well, would you mind telling me just where you've been while you should have been doing what you were hired to do?
I was out with Danny and Georgie.
Sure. You were out with Danny and Georgie. But what did you do before that? And what did you do with the necklace? That Diamond Quartet or whatever it is.
I mailed it.
You mailed it? You were hired to deliver that thing personally, and you mail it.
Where's my clothes?
Regan, I'll never understand you. I'll never understand you or the way you do things. I send you out on a simple little job. All you have to do is take a necklace back, and what do? You wind up bleeding all over the city street. Here's your pants.
What time you got?
3 o'clock in the morning. It's always 3 o'clock in the morning when somebody telephones me that you're in trouble somewhere.
Well, why don't you go home and go back to bed?
I haven't been to bed. I haven't had one wink of sleep tonight. You know why? Because on top of all my other troubles, some dame who sounds like she has a suit full of hooch has been calling my place every half hour asking for you. My place.
Why didn't you tell her to call my place?
I did tell her to call your place. I told her a couple of 100 times to call your place. Then I told her to shut up.
Coat.
Here. You look terrible. Terrible.
She give you a name?
Annabella something or other. I don't know. What I want to know is... Hey, where are you going? Who's going to pay this hospital bill? Where are you going?
Well, the cab driver circled twice before he picked me up, but he got me out to her place in 20 minutes. When I got upstairs, her door was halfway open, and the light from the hallway kind of seeped in. She was sitting in a big chair right by the door. I don't know why, but she was holding the phone on her lap, just sitting there, looking at nothing.
Oh, Mr. Regan. It's you. You came back.
Yeah. I don't think you're going to need this.
Oh. Well then, Mr. Regan. Well then. I suppose you've met some people tonight who know a great deal about me.
Some? A gambler? A jeweler?
And of course they told you how I carry on with money and all that. Everyone seems to know that.
Yeah, Daly told me.
Do you know about Charles? Charles and I had so many things together, and it was so much fun being alive with him. You like to have fun, Mr. Regan? I do think he enjoyed being alive with me. I mean, I cried when Charles was killed. I really did. I cried. I didn't know what to do. I cried.
How long ago was that?
Oh, Charles was killed 3 years ago. But now I have Teddy. He's really a dear. You should meet him. We should all have a drink together or something. Teddy's a fine artist. Very fine artist. I think you'll be very prominent someday. I do. I really do think Teddy will be very prominent someday. Of course, it wouldn't make any difference now. Did they tell you that did they tell you? It's funny. I can't seem to get my tongue adjusted to my mouth. Did that ever happen to you, Mr. Regan?
Sometimes.
Teddy asked me to marry him tonight.
He did?
Yes, I've been very lonely since Charles died. And it isn't my money that Teddy's interested in, I'm certain. Teddy has some money of his own, although many people don't know it. What is money, Mr. Regan? What would you say, money? Oh, dear, I don't get into that business about my tongue. You think I should see a correctionist?
Why did you call me tonight?
You're the only detective I know. And I really don't know you. It's just that Mr. Daly said you were a detective.
Why did you want to see me?
I really can't understand money. I know it must sound strange to you, but some people live for it, and some people die for it, and some people...
Come here. What's wrong? What is it? Come on.
Oh, they do look so funny. So very funny. I've seen them count money. Oh, so much money, and I really believe that's all they live for. They handle it and caress it now.
Come on, tell me what's wrong. What is it? What is it? She was pointing to a black spot across the room. I found the light switch and turned it on. Oh, yeah. They looked funny, all right. It was Daly and his dumb roulette table man, Felix. And both of them were as dead as you can get.
All night. I knew you'd telephone and say you'd marry me.
Yeah. Your name's Silko?
Oh, yes, I was expecting...
My name's Regan. I'm a private investigator. I'm calling from her apartment.
Annabella's?
Now, listen. There's been a couple of murders here.
What?
She's had quite a jolt. She's going to need you and all the help she can get. I called homicide, and, well, it might be kind of rough for her.
I'll bring a doctor.
And a lawyer.
I've got a good one. I'll be there in 10 minutes. Thank you.
Well, he showed up about the same time Wendetti and the homicide boys got there. By that time, she couldn't even talk, and they had to put her to sleep. I told Wendetti what I knew about it, and he said we'd get it straightened around as soon as she had something to say. It was about 8 o'clock in the morning when I got home. I didn't expect my boy to show up so soon. He was already there.
Regan. I've been expecting you. Come in, sir. Come in. I've been amusing myself with your chessboard. So we meet again. Sit down, sit down. You've had rather a hectic night, I'll wager.
Your boys were pretty rough.
Georgie and Danny. Two men of another world, Regan. Not our world. Allow me to apologize for their action. And so unnecessary, too. I underestimated you, Regan. Such an ingenious method of protecting the Diamond Quartet. Why, sir, by the simple expedient of placing a 3-cent stamp on an envelope and mailing it to you yourself, you hired as guardians the entire United States Postal Service. Not to mention the Army, Navy, and Marine Corps.
You want one of these?
No, thank you, Regan. Much too early in the day. But go ahead. You give me cause to admire you again, sir. I'm one of those faint-hearted persons who cannot abide liquor until 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
All right. What happens now?
By gad, I admire your directness, Mr. Regan. When I met you last night, I promised myself you'd give me trouble, and you have.
Who's in on it?
Such directness. In answer, sir, that is a matter to be explained.
Double cross.
If you can bear my vanity, I have invented a new word. Triple cross. It does have a ring to it, doesn't it?
Sounds familiar.
My gad, sir, I like you.
Daly in on this?
Daly? No, of course not. A mere instigator. But when Madge explained to me that he was returning the Diamond Quartet, I first conceived the plan.
Just plain Madge.
She and her friends have been very valuable to me.
They knocked off Daly and Felix and planted them in the girl's apartment.
Right. With 2 cadavers in her living room, Mrs. Callender was very unlikely to discuss missing jewelry with the police.
Then it was a phony she was wearing, and she didn't even know it, huh?
And it caused all of this. If you had merely returned it, it would have been simple to remove it from her. But then...
And you just sit here and wait for the mail.
We wait for the mail, Mr. Regan.
What about your playmates?
You do act your role, don't you? And I like you for it, Mr. Regan. I wish you and I could have worked out something together. An unbeatable team. In answer, sir, I'm afraid I shall be sought for murder for 2 this night.
Danny and Georgie?
And, Madge. Does that name bother you as much as it bothers me? Give me a woman with a name like Celeste, or Josephine, or Roxanne. Those, sir, are proper names for the creatures. But Madge...
Where are the police going to find all these bodies?
In my hotel room, which I departed hastily.
I know a man down at Central Homicide named Wendetti.
Do you?
Mm-hmm. He's the best cop I've ever seen. You'll never get away with it.
Allow me to correct you, sir. I don't intend to get away with it. Observe me well. You see before you a man advanced in years, attached to a destitute and bankrupt jewelry firm, with nothing more to look forward to than a grim few years, and finally the end. Now an opportunity to live like a king, and by God, sir, I've taken it.
They'll pick you up before you can pack a bag.
I'll risk that. I shall turn the Diamond Quartet into cash, and with a well-laden purse, I shall be satisfied to elude the police over half the world. Oh, yes, they'll get me. In 2 years, 3 years, perhaps. By that time, I shall have spent the money. And what more could a man ask than a perfect fulfillment of all his wishes? Huh? I ask you, sir, as one gentleman to another, what more could a man ask? You have company, and I have a gun. Answer it. Tell him to go away. I'll be right beside you. All right. Open it.
One side, Chalmers. I got a gun.
Madge.
Thought I'd find you here, but boy, get into such a good job on me.
Caution, my dear. I have a gun, too.
I can last long enough to let you have it. Get out of my way, people. Oh.
Mr. Regan, sir. I believe I've been shot. I need assistance. I can't seem to hold my feet, sir. Can't seem to hold my feet. The motor is nil nisi bonum, Mr. Regan. Or, if your second year Latin escapes you, speak well of the dead. It was an awkward plan at best. Wasn't it?
It was a lousy idea. Well, there wasn't anybody left for Wendetti to arrest, so we sat around and looked at each other. Wendetti agreed that Madge double-crossed Daly. Tartaglia double-crossed Madge and her boys. Yeah, triple cross. Well, the Lion had something on his mind. He wanted to know, was I satisfied with what I got out of this case? I didn't answer him. I need the job.
The Army Nurse Corps Reserve still has commissions available. If you are a graduate registered nurse between the ages of 21 and 45, you may be eligible for a commission in the Army Nurse Corps section of the Regular Officers Reserve. Graduate work is provided at the Army's most modern teaching center, and the nurses obtain educational experiences that benefit them in both civilian and military nursing. If you believe you qualify for a commission in the Army Nurse Corps Reserve, apply to the Adjutant General, Washington, D.C. Jack Webb is featured as Jeff Regan, with Wilms Herbert as Anthony J. Lyon. The role of Bert Tartaglia was played by Barry Kruger. Lorene Tuttle was Annabella Callender. It's CBS same time next week for trouble, suspense, and thrilling adventure with Jeff Regan, Investigator. Written by E. Jack Newman, produced by Gordon T. Hughes, directed tonight by Cliff Howell. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Sound out for Chesterfield. Chesterfield is best for you. First cigarette with premium quality in both regular and king size. Chesterfield brings you Dragnet.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you're about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned a robbery detail. A suspect has been apprehended. You have a positive identification from the victim. Your job, investigate.
Years ahead of them all.
Chesterfield is years ahead of them all.
The quality contrast between Chesterfield and other leading brands is a revealing story.
Recent chemical analyses give an index of good quality for the country's 6 leading cigarette brands. The index of good quality table, which is a ratio of high sugar to low nicotine, shows Chesterfield quality highest.
Chesterfield quality highest.
15% higher than its nearest competitor.
Chesterfield quality highest.
31% higher than the average of the 5 other leading brands.
Yes, Chesterfield is first with premium quality in both regular and king size.
Don't you want to try a cigarette with a record like this? Chesterfield.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Wednesday, June 3rd. It was hot in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of robbery detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Didion. My name's Friday. I was on my way into the office, and it was 7:46 a.m. when I got to room 27A. Robbery.
Joe?
Yeah?
You're early.
Yeah. I got to run over to Georgia Street Receiving Hospital.
What's the matter?
I don't know, Frank. I started to get headaches last night. I couldn't sleep. A ringing in my ears. I don't know what it is.
Now, hold on. Stay right there.
What?
Got up my locker. I'll get it for you.
What are you talking about?
The headaches get worse when you move.
What?
When you move around, it gets worse, right?
Yeah.
Feels like your head's going to blow up?
Yeah.
Huh. Glad you came to me. I know just what it is. Got stuff right up here. Someplace. Yeah, here it is. There you are, Joe. Take 2. Fix you right up.
What is it?
Salt.
Salt?
Salt. That's your trouble. You don't get enough salt. Same thing happened to me last summer. Ever since then, I always keep a bottle of salt tablets right in my locker. Always ready. Take 2. Fix you right up.
Well, I don't know. You got a penny?
What for, a cup? Oh, wait a minute, Joe. You're not going to drink that water anymore.
No?
Just a minute. Bought a whole case of this for us. There you are, boy. Drink it right out of the bottle.
What is it?
Poland water, Joe. 100% pure. Right from the springs. Real water.
Yeah?
Yep. Read right there on the bottle, see? Not carbonated. Full of minerals and good things.
Yeah, well, Frank, maybe I ought to wait and see the doctor, huh?
Joe, believe me, I know what's wrong. It's happened to me. Same thing. Salt, that's what you need.
Yeah.
Well, there you are. Poland water and the pills fix you right up. There you are. Go ahead.
Oh, look, I appreciate all this, really I do, but I think I ought to see the doctor, huh?
Joe, don't you trust me?
Well, yeah.
Take the pills.
Salt.
Salt. Take them.
All right.
There now. That wasn't bad, was it? If the headaches don't go away, we can drop by Georgia Street and see the doc. Well, you want to give me the bottle? I'll put the cap back on. Keep it fresh for
all right. Anything in the box?
Yeah, an arrest report. We're supposed to check the guy out.
Anything on it?
Held up a grocery store at the corner of 7th and Francis a week ago yesterday.
When'd they pick him up?
Last night. Victim saw him on the street and called a radio car, took him into custody, and then booked him.
Well, let's go talk to him. I'll see what he's got to say.
After we get through, we can drop by the hospital if he's still got the headaches. This shouldn't take too long.
Well?
Sure, guy's already confessed.
We ran the name of the suspect, Thomas Stanford, through R&I, but we found no previous criminal record for anyone of his description. 8:10 a.m. We drove over to the main jail. We went up to the second floor and signed in. Stanford was brought from his cell, and Frank and I took him to one of the interview rooms. We gave him a cigarette, and he started to talk. He was quiet and cooperative.
Yeah, I did the robbery a week ago yesterday.
I'd like to check some things out here on the arrest report.
Sure, I want to get this over with. I did it like I told you. Nothing special. Just held up the store.
Mm-hmm. Your full name is Thomas Arthur Stanford, is that right?
Yeah, Thomas Arthur. My friends call me Tom.
Uh-huh. Your home address is 1824 South Mariposa Avenue?
Yeah, I live with my father, 1824 South Mariposa Avenue, LA7.
What's your father's name?
Arthur, same as my middle name. I was named after him.
You employed?
Not regular.
What do you mean?
Well, I don't have a regular job like in a factory or a store. I'm a gardener. I work for different people.
You give us a list of the people you work for?
Well, sure, if you got to have them.
It's just routine.
Oh. Yeah, I'll give them to you.
You want to tell us how you committed the robbery?
Yeah, I'll tell you. Isn't much to tell, though. It's pretty simple. I went in and held the place up, took the money. That's about all there is to it.
Were you armed when you went into that grocery store?
Yeah. Yeah, I had a gun.
What kind of a gun?
.32 automatic. Had 8 bullets in it.
Where's the gun now?
Threw it away.
Where?
In one of the ponds up in Ferndale.
You mean up in Griffith Park?
Yeah, just a little up the canyon there.
You want to show us where it is?
Sure.
All right. If you start right at the beginning, tell us all about the robbery, what you did.
Well, why do you have to know all that? I told you I did it. There's nothing more you have to know.
We got to have it for the record. It's just routine, like I told you.
You guys do a lot of things that's routine, don't you?
Yeah, we do, quite a bit.
Was there anybody in the store when you went in?
Just the woman that owned the place. I guess she owned it. The way she carried on, you'd have thought it was her own money I was taking. Well, I took out the gun, and I told her it was a stick-up. I said for her not to cause any trouble.
What'd she say to that?
Well, that's when she got hacked at me, started to yell.
What'd you do?
I guess she figured I meant what I said when I told her to shut up. Anyway, she quieted down, then I told her to get into the back room. They got this little room where they keep the empty Coke and the beer bottles. I told her to get in there.
Did she?
Yeah, she went into the room, and I locked the door from the outside. And I went to the cash register and punched the no-sale button and took the money. After that, I left the store.
You didn't have the money on you when they picked you up last night. Where is it?
It's gone. I spent it.
You spent it all?
Yeah, every last nickel. I had myself a ball.
You remember where you spent it?
All around, different places. I bought myself some clothes, spent some of it in clubs. Just went. None of it left.
You drive a car, Stanford?
Yeah. Isn't mine, though. It belongs to my father. It's a big Chrysler sedan.
Did you drive that when you held up the grocery store?
Yeah, I had it parked down the street on 7th.
Mm-hmm. Remember the time when you went into the store?
Yeah. It was just after 12 noon.
What were you doing in the neighborhood last night?
You mean when they picked me up?
That's right.
Just looking around.
You ever been arrested before?
No. Never been mixed up with a cop.
You ever been to the hospital? Mental institution?
What do you ask a question like that for?
Routine.
Oh. Well, when I was a kid, I had my tonsils out. I was in a hospital then. A couple of days. I don't remember it too well. It was a long time ago.
Mm-hmm. How old are you, Stanford?
28. All these questions you're asking me. I told the two cops that picked me up the same things. Why you got to ask them again? Can't you just send me to the penitentiary and get it over with?
Got to double-check the story, Stanford.
I suppose so. Just seems that you're going to a lot of trouble you don't have to. I told you I did it. I'm not giving you any trouble. I confess.
No.
My father know about this yet?
Yeah, he was called.
He's going to be pretty sore about it.
All right.
Sure he doesn't know I used his car.
9:15 a.m. We checked the suspect out of the main jail and took him over to the store that had been robbed. While Frank waited in the car, I went in and talked to the victim, a Mrs. Alice Kenwood. I told her that we'd bring the suspect into the store and ask him several questions about the robbery. During that time, I told her that we wanted her to observe the suspect so that she could give us a positive identification. I told her that it would be better if she didn't talk to him, and that if she had any questions, she could ask them through us. She agreed and said that she would do anything she could to help us in the investigation. I went out to the car, and Frank and I brought the suspect into the store.
Come on back here, Stanford.
What are you bringing me here for? What are you trying to prove?
I'd like to have you explain a few things for us.
Well, I told you all I could. I told you I committed the robbery. Isn't that enough?
Just a couple of things we'd like to have you clear up for us.
Well, what things? I told you how I did it. Well, she'll tell you. That's the woman I held up. She'll tell you it was me. She should know. She's the one who turned me in.
How about it, Miss Kenwood?
He's the one, all right. I'd know him any place.
There, isn't that enough? What more do you want?
I'd like to have you show us just how you came into the store, what you did while you were in here.
You mean the whole thing?
Yeah, from the time he came in through the door.
All right. Take these handcuffs off, and I'll show you.
You can show us with them on.
It's got to be that way. It's going to make it tougher.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I came in the door. I came in, and she was standing behind that counter.
You mean Miss Kenwood?
Yeah, her. She was standing behind the counter. I walked over to her and showed her the gun. Told her it was a stick-up. Told her I wanted the money.
That's right. He pointed the gun at me. I thought he was going to shoot.
All right, go ahead, Stanford.
Well, she started to yell, told me to get out of the store.
Certainly I yelled at him. You think I want anybody coming in here and waving a gun around? Oh, if my husband was here, he'd show you good.
See what I mean? I never saw a woman that could yell so much.
Go ahead, Stanford. What'd you do then?
Well, I told her if she didn't keep quiet, I'd have to shoot her, and then I told her to get in the room
now,
and back.
Just hold on a minute. He's not only a thief, but he's a liar, too.
Ma'am?
That's not what he did at all.
What do you mean, Mrs. Kenwood?
He didn't tell me to get into the back room. There ain't any back room.
How about that, Stanford?
You're going to listen to her? I'm the one that robbed the place. She didn't. I guess I know what I did.
All right, let's take a look back here. Come on. What's behind this curtain here, Miss Kenwood?
Just a little space where I keep my empty bottles. Goes right out onto the alley.
There, see, that's where I put her. That's where I told her to stay.
Mm-hmm. And you said you locked the door. There's no door there.
I got confused. It doesn't make any difference. I told her to get back there and stay there until I was out of the store.
That's a lie. You did no such thing. You told me to get down on the floor and cover my face. Then you went over to the cash register and you took the money. I didn't move. Didn't want to give you any trouble the way you were waving that gun around. It's a wonder you didn't try to kill me.
The way you're yakking it up, I should have done it.
All right, that's enough. Frank?
Yeah.
You want to take Stanford out to the car? I'll be right with you.
Yeah, okay. Come on, Stanford, let's go.
You know what you got to go through all this for. I told you I did it. I never saw anything like it before. You can't even confess around here. Nobody believes you.
Miss Kenwood?
Yes, officer.
Are you sure that's the man that held you up here?
I said it before. I'm positive. There isn't any doubt in my mind.
Uh-huh. Now, you heard what he said, how he said he robbed you. Is that the way it happened?
Well, everything was the same except where he said that he put me in back there. That wasn't true. He made me lie down on the floor right there. Told me to stay still for 5 minutes, not to move. Said that if I caused any trouble, he'd come back and shoot me.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's crazy. Anybody would wave a gun around like that. It's terrible. I wish my husband was here. He'd show that snip. He's in the Army, you know, my husband.
Yes, ma'am.
Awful thing. Him overseas getting shot at and young punks like that roaming around the streets with guns, threatening people. It's a terrible thing.
Now, this is pretty important, ma'am. I want to ask you once more. You're sure that's the man who held you up?
How many times do I have to say it? I've told you that it is. He admits it himself. What more do you need?
Well, I don't know, ma'am. There's just something here that isn't right about the whole thing.
Doesn't make any difference. He's the man. There's no mistake about that. Oh, you just let me know when you want me in court. I'll be there. I want to see him get what's coming to him, every bit of it.
Yes, ma'am. So do we, if he's the right man. 12:22 p.m. We drove the suspect back to the city hall for further questioning. Frank took him to the interrogation room, and I checked into the squad room.
Pardon me?
Yes, sir?
Sergeant Friday?
Yes, sir. Something I can do for you?
I'm Arthur Stanford, Tom's father.
Oh, yes, sir.
I understand my son is here. Is that right?
Yes, sir. He's here.
Wonder if I could see him, talk to him?
Yes, sir. I think that can be arranged.
Has he told you why he did it? Has he?
Well, he's given us some reasons, sir. None of them are very good.
I can't understand it. Just isn't any reason for him to do a thing like this. No reason at all that I can see.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what to do, Mr. Friday. I left the house this morning, and all the people in the neighborhood knew about it. They all knew. I walked down the street, and they turned away from me. I could see them watch me through the windows of their houses. I could tell what they were thinking. My son's a thief. Common thief. And in my heart, I know it's true. I don't know what to do about it, Mr. Friday. Can you tell me?
No, sir, I'm afraid I can't.
Well, maybe he can. May I see him?
Yes, sir, he's across the hall. This way. Right over here, sir.
I wonder if I could have a cigarette?
Yes, sir. Here you are. Here's a match.
Thank you. I'm not sure what I'm going to say to him when I see him. Wish I had some time to think.
Well, you don't have to go in now if you don't want to, sir.
Oh, it wouldn't help any to put it off. Won't get any easier with time. I might as well get it over with.
All right, sir.
Hi, Pop.
Why'd you do it, son?
Well, I did it because I wanted to. I wanted the money. I didn't know any other reason you robbed somebody. I wanted the money, so I did it.
You could have come to me. I'd have tried to get the money for you. You know I'd have tried.
Where'd you get it? Where'd you get that kind of money? All your life you've been grubbing for pennies. I don't want small money. I want to be rich. I will be, too.
All right, take it easy, Stanford.
It's all right, Mr. Friday. I understand.
All my life you've been saying you understand. I'm getting sick of it. As long as I can remember, you've been telling me to get out and do something on my own. Well, I finally did it. Now you aren't happy with it.
You expect me to throw my head up in the air because you're a thief?
Oh, knock it off. I'm tired of you giving me lectures all the time. Yakety yak. Never stop.
That's enough of that, don't you think, Stanford?
Well, you keep out of this, cop. This is a family matter. It doesn't concern you. This is between my father and me.
Well, tell me why. That's all I want. Why? Tell me so I can face the neighbors, so I can tell them you had a reason.
Tell them your son's a bum.
Well, they know that already, but that's not a reason to steal.
It's good enough for me. They're not going to listen to you anyway. They already made up their minds about me. They did that a long time ago.
Come on, Stanford. Let's go back to jail.
Sure. Anything else here to do? He never understood. He never did. Let's go.
One thing I'd like to ask first.
What's that?
You're going to jail for a long time. I have to live while you're gone.
It's your worry.
Well, it always has been. I want to know what you did with the gardening tools. I like to have them to get along.
I don't know. I left them someplace.
You remember where? Think. I need those tools.
I'm not sure. Maybe at Mrs. Howard's. Maybe that's where I left.
Over on 12th?
Yeah, I did her place last Wednesday. I guess I forgot to pick stuff up when I left. It must still be there.
And I'll go over and get them.
Wait a minute.
What do you want?
He said he did some gardening for this Mrs. Howard last Wednesday. That'd be a week ago yesterday, is that right?
That's what I said.
You remember what time you were there?
Most of the day. I got there about 10 in the morning, left about 4 in the afternoon. I was in a hurry to get away. That's why I forgot the tools, I guess.
You leave the place at all during the day?
Not till I finished. What are you trying to prove with all these questions?
It's about the robbery, Stanford.
Yeah?
If you were at this Howard woman's house, how could you held up the grocery store?
Don't make no difference how I did it. I don't have to explain it to you.
No, you're wrong about that, Stanford.
Is that right?
Too many things here don't add up. The way you confessed, the difference in your story about the robbery. Now, this thing about you being at the Howard house. I don't know why you're lying about this, Stanford.
Yeah?
But we're going to find out.
You are listening to Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action. Chesterfield is best for you. Listen to Chesterfield's record. For a full year and 2 months, a doctor has been making regular examinations of a group of Chesterfield smokers, and he reports no adverse effects to the nose, throat, and sinuses from smoking Chesterfields.
Don't you want to try a cigarette with a record like this? Chesterfield. First with premium quality in both regular and king size. Chesterfield. First choice with Young America. And that's from a survey of 274 colleges and universities. Try Chesterfields today. Remember, Chesterfield is America's best cigarette buy.
We continued to talk to the suspect, Thomas Stanford, for another hour. He refused to say anything about the conflicting aspects of his story. His father pleaded with him to tell us the truth, but other than admitting he was responsible for the grocery store robbery, he'd say nothing. We got the address of the house where Stanford had said he'd left the gardening tools. 3:15 p.m. After taking the suspect back to the main jail, Frank and I drove out to talk to the Howard woman.
Place sure looks nice. Well kept.
Yeah.
Look at those carnations, Joe. Ever seen anything so pretty?
Yeah, they're very nice.
You know, Faye tries them all the time. Never seems to have any luck with them, though. Plants come up all right, but the flowers just don't seem to get very big.
Mm-hmm.
About size of half a buck. Little bitty things.
Yeah.
Sure smell good, though.
I get the bill.
Yes?
Miss Howard?
That's right. Is there something you want?
Police officers, ma'am. We'd like to talk to you.
Policeman? What do you want to see me for?
Well, it's about a man who did some work for you, Thomas Stanford.
Oh. Yes, come in, Wiltshire.
Thank you very much. My name's Friday, Mrs. Howard. This is my partner, Frank Smith.
Well, how do you do?
How you doing, ma'am?
Just sit down there. I'm having a late lunch. Can I get you anything?
No, thank you.
No, thank you, ma'am.
Sure you wouldn't have a glass of iced tea or something like that?
No, thanks, Miss Howard. How about this man, Stanford?
Oh, yes, Tom. He's a good gardener. Does a beautiful job on the place. You should take a walk around the grounds. He keeps it just beautifully.
Yes, ma'am. Could you tell us when he was here last?
Oh, well, I'd have to think about that. Let's see. Well, I think it was a week ago yesterday. Yes, that's right. Last Wednesday. He comes once a week. He should have been here yesterday. Called his house when he didn't show up. No answer. Probably forgot. He's very forgetful, you know.
Is that right?
Oh, yes. But take the last time he was here. He walked off and forgot all of his tools. Lawnmower, clippers, everything. Had to take it back to the garage. Just left it on the lawn right out in the front of the place.
Mm-hmm. You ever had any trouble with him?
What do you mean by trouble?
Well, any arguments, disagreements?
Well, on a couple of occasions, we've had words about what flowers to put in. He's wanted to plant one thing, I've wanted something else. They've never been serious, though.
Yes, ma'am.
I suppose I shouldn't say this.
What's that, Miss Howard?
Well, frankly, I've never thought that Tom was real bright. He seemed sort of backwards.
How do you mean, backward?
Well, when it came to thinking out something for himself, he just couldn't handle it. If you told him to do a thing a certain way, do it. Never vary from the way you told him.
Mm-hmm.
But ask him to figure something out, and he was dead. Seemed like the motor was turning over all right, but he just couldn't get the clutch out. Gears just wouldn't work.
Yes, ma'am.
That's why I say I don't think he's very bright. He just can't seem to think for himself. No initiative.
Do you remember what time he was here on Wednesday?
Well, now, let's see. He got here about 10 in the morning. It was right after that radio show about the Friends. I'd just finished listening to that when he got here. That goes off the air at 10. Have you ever heard it?
No, ma'am.
Oh, you should listen sometime. These people tell why they need a friend to help them out of trouble. Well, I listen to it every morning. It makes me feel pretty lucky, those poor people. I sure appreciate what I've got when I hear what they have to say.
Uh-huh. Was Stanford here all day, ma'am?
Yes, all day. He didn't leave until, let's see. Well, I guess it was about 5, someplace around in there. It seems to me it was just before the 5 o'clock news, just before that when he left.
You say he got here at 10, and then he left just before 5 o'clock, is that right?
That's right.
Any chance that he might have been away without you knowing it?
No, I'd have known it if he had. He was out in the backyard most of the morning, and then he took care of the front later in the day.
What's he do about lunch, Miss Howard?
What do you mean?
Well, does he bring his lunch with him?
Once in a while he does, yes. Well, he didn't on Wednesday, though. I'm sure about that.
How do you mean, Mrs. Howard?
Well, along about lunchtime. It was right after the noon news. I made up a little plate for him. A couple of sandwiches, potato chips, and some pickles. Little tiny sweet gherkins. I made it up and I took it out to him.
Yes, ma'am.
I took this nice plate out to him, and where do you suppose I found him?
Where?
Out by in the garage, sitting next to the compost box. What do you suppose he was doing?
Well, what, ma'am?
Reading a comic book. All about cops and robbers. One of those with a picture on the cover of the crooks trying to shoot their way out of the bank.
Mm-hmm.
I told him that he'd better get on the ball, let the clutch out, and get to work. I told him that I wanted the yard finished up by 5, and that I didn't want any funny business about it.
What did he say to that?
Well, he just looked at me for a long time, and then he said, "Okay, Warden." Just like that. "Okay, Warden." But he got to work right away, and he finished up on time. You see, my son and daughter-in-law were coming over. It was his birthday, and we'd planned a little party. I wanted the place to be nice for them.
Yes, ma'am, we understand. Is it possible that Stanford could have gotten away from the yard at all between 10 and 5?
No, I'm sure of that. He was here all the time.
All right, ma'am. Thank you very much.
What's this all about? Is Tom in some sort of trouble?
No, it's just a routine investigation, Miss Howard. I'm going to give you our card in case you think of anything else. Here you are.
Oh, thank you. Michigan 5211, is that right?
Yes, ma'am. Ask for Robbery Division. That's extension 2511. It's right on the card.
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm. Poor Tom, all this trouble. It's too bad.
Yes, ma'am.
I just wish this was New York.
Beg your pardon?
Well, if this was New York, everything would be all right.
How's that?
That program about the Friends?
Yes, ma'am.
Tom could sure use one.
We left Mrs. Howard's home and talked to some of the people in the neighborhood. They told us that the Howards were respected people in the community, and some of them verified the fact that Stanford had worked for almost 2 years. The man who lived directly across the street from the Howard house said that he'd talked with Stanford on the afternoon of the robbery. He said that he'd asked the suspect about the seeds that he used to raise the carnations that were planted along the front of the house. He went on to say that he'd been working in the front yard of his own house all afternoon and that he'd seen the suspect throughout that time. We drove back to the grocery store and talked with the victim, Mrs. Kenwood. Under questioning, she admitted that she could have made a mistake about the identification, but she said that if she was wrong, the thief could act as a double for Tom Stanford. 10:30 p.m., we drove back to the main jail and picked up the suspect. We took him back to the city hall and talked to him in the interrogation room. He was sullen and refused to answer our questions.
Stanford?
Yeah?
I'd like to have you tell us the truth this time.
I told you it isn't my fault. If you don't believe me, it isn't my fault.
Now, look, Stanford, we talked with this Mrs. Howard. She told us that you were working for her all day a week ago Wednesday.
So what's that prove?
Well, you admit it's true then, huh?
Sure, it's true. I was working for her.
Then how could you have gotten to the grocery store and held it up? Stanford?
I did it. I haven't got anything more to say. I did the robbery. Smith, you get tonight's papers?
Yeah, I picked them up earlier.
Anything in them about me?
I didn't see anything.
There must have been something. Some story about me with my name?
Well, if there was, I didn't see it.
Well, maybe it didn't look good.
Maybe.
There's got to be something, a picture or something.
No.
Well, let me look.
Where'd you leave the papers, Frank?
Squad room.
Would you get them and let me look?
Sure.
Pretty important to you that you're in the papers, isn't it?
I just want to see him, that's all.
Well, he'll bring him back.
You must have made a mistake. There's something about me. There's got to be. It isn't every day there's a robbery like this. The papers would write it up big, wouldn't they?
I don't know.
Well, sure they would. There was a story when the place was robbed, told all about how it was done. It was just a little story, but now they've got me. It seems you should have a picture.
Here it is.
Let me see. Nothing on the first page.
Robbery happened a week ago. It's old news.
Yeah, but you just caught me last night. Nothing. Not one lousy word. Nothing at all.
That makes a difference, doesn't it?
Sure it does. Sure. If there isn't anything in the papers, how are people going to know I did it? How are they going to know?
They won't.
But they gotta. They gotta. Don't you see that? If they don't know that I did the robbery, there ain't no reason for it. No reason at all.
What do you mean, Stanford?
Well, there won't be no pictures, no nothing. People still think I'm nobody. No one's going to know that I did do something. No one will know.
Well, the way it looks to us, you didn't do it.
There should be a story about it, about how I confessed. Maybe not a picture, but at least a story, something.
You didn't do it, did you? Stanford? Come on. You didn't hold up that story, did you?
No. No, I didn't. I thought I could get away with it. I thought that if I confessed, you'd put me in jail and people would look at me different. And they wouldn't laugh at me anymore because I'd done something. Mm-hmm. Poor dumb Tom. That's what they say, poor dumb Tom. Just once I wanted to show him that I could do something.
You ready to go?
Back to the jail?
That's right.
You think we could stop on the way over? I'd like to pick up something.
Yeah, what's that?
Other papers. Might be something in them.
The story you have just heard is true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On June 4th, a meeting was held in the District Attorney's Office, City and County of Los Angeles, State of California. In a moment, the results of that meeting.
Now, here is our star, Jack Webb.
Thank you, George Fenneman. I'd like to talk to you people who don't smoke Chesterfields. I'm convinced that if you try just one carton, you'll find they're best for you. They're milder, they have a wonderful taste, and most important, they have premium quality in both sizes, regular or king size. So pick up that carton, will you? Chesterfields. Try them.
A 5.10 report was filed on Thomas Arthur Stanford, and he was released from custody. 10 months later, on May 22nd, James R. Rogers was apprehended while attempting to hold up a liquor store at the corner of 3rd and Temple Streets. While being interrogated, he confessed to committing the robbery that Stanford had been accused of. The physical appearance of the two men was almost identical. Rogers was tried and convicted of robbery in the first degree and received sentence as prescribed by law. You have just heard Dragnet, a series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice comes from the Office of Chief of Police W.H. Parker, Los Angeles Police Department. Technical advisors, Captain Jack Donahoe, Sergeant Marty Wynn, Sergeant Vance Frazier. Heard tonight were Ben Alexander, Virginia Gregg, Vic Perrin. Script by John Robinson. Music by Walter Schumann. Hal Gibney speaking.
For a million laughs, tune in Chesterfield's Martin and Lewis show Tuesday on this same NBC station. And sound off for Chesterfields. Either regular or king size, you'll find premium quality Chesterfields much milder. Chesterfield is best for you.
Chesterfield has brought you Dragnet, transcribed from Los Angeles.
Now, new Fatima has the tip for your lips. Fatima tips of perfect cork. King size for natural filtering. Fatima quality for a much better flavor and aroma. So remember, new Fatima has the tip for your lips. Fatima. See how smooth they are.
Remember, Fatima is made by the makers of Chesterfield.
Tonight it's Adventure with Barry Craig on NBC.
Sound off for Chesterfield. Chesterfield, first with premium quality and best for you. Chesterfield brings you Dragnet.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to auto theft detail. You get a call from a truck rental service. One of their trucks has disappeared. There's no sign of the man who rented it. Your job, find him. Years ahead of them all. Chesterfield is years ahead of them all. The quality contrast between Chesterfield and other leading brands is a revealing story. Recent chemical analyses give an index of good quality for the country's 6 leading cigarette brands. The index of good quality table, which is a ratio of high sugar to low nicotine, shows Chesterfield quality highest. Chesterfield quality highest. 15% higher than its nearest competitor. Chesterfield quality highest. 31% higher than the average of the 5 other leading brands. Yes, Chesterfield is first with premium quality in both regular and king size. Don't you want to try a cigarette with a record like this? Chesterfield. Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Monday, April 20th. It was warm in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of auto theft detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Nelson. My name's Friday. I was on my way into the office, and it was 8:02 a.m. when I got to room 40. Auto theft. Hi, Frank.
Hi.
Where'd you get the sunburn?
Went fishing yesterday.
Yeah? Where'd you go?
Down Newport.
How'd you do?
Didn't.
What do you mean?
I didn't. Yesterday's the first day off we've been able to collect for a month.
Yeah, I know.
Last Thursday, I checked with a skipper. Said it looked like I'd be able to make it sure this weekend. So I called the place. I made reservations. All set. Gonna go fishing.
Yeah.
Saturday night, I got all my tackle out and took my reel apart, cleaned it, all ready. Say, packed the lunch. Real good. I'm all set. Get up at 4:45 in the morning. I drove down to Newport. Beautiful morning, Joe.
Yeah.
Sun shining. Little wind, you know. Really looking forward to it. Gonna be a real day off, you know. Get down there, get on the boat. Not many people, maybe 15 or 20.
Yeah, not many for a Sunday, was it?
No, that's why I think I got it made. I got a place right at the back of the boat, and we shoved off. I went down to get some breakfast. You know, load up and really pull those fish in.
Yeah.
I got through eating, went up on deck. Where do you suppose we were?
Well, I wouldn't know.
I'll take a guess.
Frank, I wouldn't have the least idea. All right, where were you?
Right back at the dock.
What?
Yeah, right back at the dock. They'd gone out to the ocean, and the water was so rough they turned around and came right back. And all the while, I'm down below having breakfast. I didn't even see the ocean.
Oh, well, that's too bad, isn't it?
Yeah. Picked up my tackle, went over and fished on the pier. After all day. Ate my lunch and fished all day.
Well, how'd you do there? Pretty good, huh?
All day just getting a blister on my lip from the sun. I just sat there.
Yeah, well, did you catch anything? How'd you do?
Skunked.
What?
Skunked, nothing.
You mean you didn't catch anything at all?
Oh, a couple of perch. Skunked.
Yeah, well, too bad. Did you check the book?
My day off. I'm skunked.
I got it. Auto theft Friday. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, when did it go out? Yeah, just a minute. All right, what's that address again? Uh-huh. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we'll be right there. You bet. All right. I'll get your hat.
Yeah?
Truck rental company out on Pico. Guy came in Saturday and rented a 2-ton from him.
Yeah.
Said he'd be back in a couple hours.
Uh-huh.
I haven't seen him since. 8:24 a.m. We drove out to the address of the Coventry U-Drive truck service. The lot was on the corner of Pico Boulevard and Cambridge Street. Along the front of the place were several panel and pickup trucks, and in the back of the yard was one large stake truck. The office was in a small wooden building at the rear of the lot. We went in and talked to the manager, Mr. Stephen Cole.
Tried to check him this morning when the truck wasn't back. Once the landlady said she saw him come home with the truck set. She hasn't seen him since.
What's the man's name, Cole?
The name he used when he rented the truck was George Summers.
Did he have any identification?
Yeah, I had a driver's license. I got the number here on the slip. Oh, here it is. The California license. You got to have one to rent a truck.
Uh-huh.
He signed his name, George R. Summers. Number on the license was W414626.
26, huh?
Mm-hmm.
What kind of a truck was it?
A new Ford. Just got it a couple weeks ago. Brand new.
What color was it?
Blue, light blue. Had the name Coventry painted on the side. Name's in the cream color.
What kind of a truck is it?
2-ton stake.
Was it possible that this Summers is just keeping it out longer than he said he would?
Possible, but it isn't likely. Said when he came in, he wanted to haul a load of furniture. Said he just needed a couple of hours. That was Saturday morning. We haven't heard a word from him since. I got Red out looking for it now.
Who's Red?
Works for me.
Oh, I see.
When a truck is late getting back, we usually call first, then send one of our men out to check on it. Red drove over to see the Summers. He left about an hour ago. I haven't heard from him yet.
Oh, I see. Do you get a deposit on the truck?
Yeah, we do. Some of the places don't, but we get one. $20.
Does Summers pay cash?
No, he gave me a check. Haven't had a chance to deposit it yet. I'll call the bank later.
Uh-huh. Can you give us a description of the man?
Well, not very good. I was out in the yard when he came in. I didn't handle the deal myself. I got a look at him, but not good.
Would you know him again if you saw him?
Oh, it'd be hard to say. I couldn't be sure. The girl would, though. She wrote out the papers.
I wonder if we could talk to her.
Yeah, she'll be in at 9. You can talk to her then.
You got his address there? I'll see if I can check the name.
Yeah. Oh, here it is. 2462 New Jersey Street.
Okay. Can you give us some kind of a description on him?
Well, I told you I didn't get a good look at him. He's a small fellow, blonde, maybe 25 or 26 around in there. That's about the best I can do. Excuse me a minute.
Yeah.
Come to you, Drive. Yeah, how big? Oh, sure, we got one, yeah. Wait a minute, I'll check. Just a minute. Run you 210 the first hour, $1.25 an hour after that. Mm-hmm. No, there's gas in it when you get it, that's right. Oh, you pay for the gas. Huh? Well, there's a $20 deposit. That's right. Well, you get it back. California driver's license. Right. Cole. C-O-L-E. Okay, bye.
All right, if I use the phone there?
Oh, sure, hope so.
Thanks.
Pretty busy, you right?
Yes, sir. Once in a while we get kind of slow, but it seems like everybody's moving or something all the time.
Record deal, please. Yeah, 2626.
Got 3 other places, around town.
Mm-hmm. Hi there, it's Officer Frank Smith, 2633. Could you check the name George R. Summers, please? Well, he's described as WMA 23 to 27. Flight bill. And blonde. So blonde. Possible address is given as 2462.
Wonder if we could see the check he left his deposit code.
Sure, I got it clipped on the back of the slip. Yeah.
Sure, I'll hang on.
Here it is.
Uh-huh.
That truck is worth about $2,800 as it stands.
Well, you carry insurance on it, don't you?
Oh, sure, it's covered, but that isn't the point. That guy that just called wants to rent it for some stake. Only got 2 of them. Somebody else calls, I'm going to lose the rental. That's what grabs you. Probably turn out that deposit check isn't any good either. I'm out all the way around.
Mm-hmm. How about it, Frank?
Well, I can't be sure. We've got a record on the George R. Summers. It might be it. Address is different, but out of 6 cars, it's the closest. Done time for possession.
What's he mean, possession?
It's narcotics. Oh. So how about it? You want it now?
No, nothing on him.
You give us the license number of the truck?
Yeah, it's right here. I got the body motor serial number 2. Lousy phone. Here's a slip. You can copy the dope yourself.
Thank you.
Cover, you drive. Yeah. Is he there? Uh-huh. You tell me to get right down here. Yeah, you bring him. Right. Well, that's it.
Huh?
Call was from Red. He found Summers in his boarding house. Says he's been there since Saturday night.
How about the truck?
According to what he told Red, he left it out in front of the house Saturday afternoon.
Yeah.
Came back, it was gone.
9:14 a.m. The owner of the truck rental service called the bank that the deposit check had been written on. He talked to the cashier and found that there was enough money in Summers' account to cover the check. We got a full description from Cole's secretary of the suspect. The check of the truck company records showed that he'd never rented a truck from them before. 9:46 a.m. Summers arrived at the office of the U-Drive company. We talked with him briefly and asked him to accompany us downtown. We got out a local and an APB on the stolen truck. We checked his fingerprints against the record card and got a positive identification. 10:37 a.m. We took him to the interrogation room.
You ever been arrested? You know the answer to that.
I'd like to have you tell us.
Yeah, I fell once, did my time. I'm clean, no parole. Want to tell us about the truck deal? Sure, I got nothing to lose. I didn't have anything to do with it.
All right, from the beginning.
I rented about noon on Saturday.
What are you going to use it for?
I had to help a friend of mine move some furniture. Now, what's the friend's name? Louise Jordan.
Where she live?
2487 Clifford Street.
She got a phone?
No. Hey, listen, I don't want you guys going around there and giving her a bad time. According to the landlady at your place, she saw you drive away from the rooming house in that truck Saturday afternoon. How about it? Yeah, how about it?
What do you got to say?
She's off her rocker. If she saw anybody 6'2" and even, it wasn't me. Oh, the way we get it, she was pretty sure. Well, you get it wrong.
According to the record, you were picked up for violation of the State Narcotics Act, is that right?
I don't like the record. If that's what it says, that's what I fell for.
Well, let me see your arm.
Why?
I want to see your arm. Roll up your sleeve. Come on.
Look, I don't like the way you guys are acting. You got nothing on me. If you got anything to say it and get it over with. You got nothing, let me get out of here.
Sit down, Summers. Come on. I know, roll up your sleeve. Let me see your arm.
Not going to prove anything. Roll it up.
Yeah. Looks like you've been riding kind of high.
It's not as bad as it looks.
A lot of scar tissue.
That's from before.
They look fresh. When's the last time you had a pop?
A long, long time ago.
How long?
I don't remember.
You holding now?
No.
You got a habit?
No. Nothing rough. A joint pop once in a while.
You must think you're playing with kids, Summers. Why don't you stop conning us? You look like you're hooked and you know it.
You're as bad as my landlady.
Right?
Yeah.
You want to get in touch with narcotics? See if Roxy can come over.
Sure, right away. What's the deal on calling him over?
Why don't you have him look at your arm, see what he thinks?
He'll tell you. It's like I said.
Well, there's one sure way to find out.
What's that?
Drop you in a cell and wait. If you haven't got a habit, you won't mind. We're going to hold you anyway.
For what?
Story about the truck's got too many holes in it.
Well, what do you mean? It's true the way I told you. That's the way it happened. You don't believe anything, do you?
Yeah, the truth when we hear it.
I'm giving you that. You aren't buying it.
Maybe it's the way you're trying to sell it. You want to tell us what really happened to that truck?
I told you. I parked it out in front of my house. When I came back, it was gone. Isn't anything more.
Well, if you were home, how come your landlady says she didn't see you from Saturday afternoon on?
I came in the back way. For once, the old bat was looking the other way.
You mean you stayed in your room all that time?
Yeah, that's what I said.
What do you do for a living?
You mean, do I work?
That's right.
No.
You don't work, huh?
No, I had a job, but I lost
When?
it. Friday.
What'd you do?
I was a pro diver.
Where'd you wash dishes?
Place down on 6th.
Why'd you get fired?
Boss and I had a beef.
What about?
They got hacked because I came in late.
Roxy's on his way over, John. That's Roxy. That, Roxy Lucarelli?
Yeah, do you know him?
Yeah, I ran into him before. Nice guy. Treated me right.
He's the one that nailed you?
He's one of them.
I know these joy pops you've had. Where do you get this stuff?
Around.
Where around?
Here and there.
Why don't you come off it, Summers? You might think you're playing it cozy, but you're laying a big bomb here. The story you're trying to peddle us is phony all the way through. We know it, and so do you. Now, why don't you level on it? Make it a lot easier.
I'd like to, Cop. Really, I would. There's just one big problem.
Yeah.
You're off base. You know it. You haven't got anything on me. I rented a truck. It was stolen. I'm the one that reported it. I didn't try to get away. I'm telling you all I know. You're leaning all over me because I fell once. You guys just can't stand to see anyone carry a lunch bucket for long. You got to try to make up for something, even if you have to build it yourself. But you made a big mistake this time, Cop. You haven't got anything on me that you can stick. All I got to do now is keep my mouth shut and you're up an alley. And that's what I'm going to do. You're not going to get another word out of me.
All right, now tell us again about the truck. Come on. What time did you find out it was gone? You didn't tell us that. Did you leave the keys in the truck when you parked it? All right, mister, you're playing it smart. Let's see how long you can make it last. We'll see how it is after you've been sitting in a cell for a few hours. We'll try it again then, huh?
I'm going to take my time.
You do that. We got a lot of it. Sergeant Roxy Lucarelli came over from the narcotics division to talk to the suspect. Summers would say nothing. The marks on Summers' arm were fresh, and indications were that he was a narcotics user. Summers was booked at the main jail on suspicion of violation of the State Narcotic Act, a felony. Frank and I, along with Sergeant Lucarelli, went over to the suspect's rooming house. A thorough search of the place netted us nothing. We talked with the landlady, and she gave us the same story she'd given the owner of the U-Drive truck service. She said that it was possible for Summers to come in through the back of the house and get to his room without being noticed. But she told us that there'd been several phone calls for him on Sunday, and that when she'd knocked on his door, there'd been no answer. 5:30 p.m. We checked back into the office and found that there'd been no replies to the broadcast we'd gotten out on the truck. We ran Louise Jordan, Summers' girlfriend, through R&I, but we found no record on anyone answering her description. We drove out and talked to her, and she verified the suspect's story about moving the furniture. A meeting with the district attorney's office decided that there was not enough evidence to bring Summers to court on the narcotics charge and not enough to issue an indictment for the theft of the truck. He was released from custody. In the next 3 weeks, we got reports of 4 more trucks being stolen. The M.O. was the same as with the Coventry U-Drive theft. In each instance, the persons involved were checked out, but the leads we came up with led us nowhere. Additional M.O. bulletins were gotten out warning all operators of U-Drive agencies to be on the lookout for a thief or thieves unknown. Another 2 weeks passed. The thefts continued, but the thieves had switched their method of operation. They were now stealing privately owned automobiles from parking lots and in front of homes. Thursday, June 4th. Frank and I checked into the office. I got it. Hold up that, Friday. Yeah, please, put it through. It's Al Gaten from San Diego. Yeah? Yeah, hi, Al. Uh-huh. When? Yeah. Will anybody near it? How about papers? Yeah, no, we'll be right down. Yeah, okay. What? Uh-huh. You've been keeping up. Right. Well, maybe it is. No, we'll leave here right away. We'll see you in about, let's see, it's 10:20 now. About 3 hours? About how long it'll take us for. Yeah, bye. Bye, Al. Well, he says that truck from Coventry U-Drive has been found.
Where?
Just outside Rosarito Beach in Mexico.
Yeah.
Found new registration papers and something else under the seat.
Huh?
12 bundles of heroin.
You are listening to Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action. Chesterfield is best for you. Listen to Chesterfield's record. For a full year and 2 months, a doctor has been making regular examinations of a group of Chesterfield smokers, and he reports no adverse effects to the nose, throat, and sinuses from smoking Chesterfields. Don't you want to try a cigarette with a record like this? Chesterfield. First with premium quality in both regular and king size. Chesterfield. First choice with Young America. And that's from a survey of 274 colleges and universities. Try Chesterfields today. Remember, Chesterfield is America's best cigarette buy.
$10:25 a.m. We talked with Captain Nelson about the latest developments in the case, and he instructed us to leave for San Diego. When we arrived at San Diego, we checked with their auto theft detail and with Sergeant Al Gayton. He went with us to the border. We talked with the authorities at the border, but they could give us little information. They said that they'd received the bulletins we'd sent out, but that they hadn't seen the stolen vehicle. We checked with the authorities at Tijuana, and with them, we drove to the location where the truck had been found. A thorough search of the area was started, but we turned up nothing. None of the people in the immediate vicinity could tell us anything about the truck. From the registration slip, we got the name of the owner. The license plates were issued by the state of California, but a check showed that they'd been taken from a wrecked car. The narcotics found in the cab of the truck were turned over to the Mexican police. The next morning, Frank and I left for Los Angeles. While we'd been gone, officers Bill Donovan and Jack Pilkington, along with Sergeant Al Mansell, had been following up the leads in the Los Angeles area. They hadn't come up with anything new. The car thefts continued. State police units along the road to the Mexican border were alerted, but the cars continued to disappear. 2 weeks went by. Tuesday, June 23rd, Frank and I came back from a meeting with members of the National Auto Theft Bureau. Want to check the book?
Yeah, I'll get it.
Well, these thefts are sure dropping our recovery record, aren't they?
Yeah. Talked to Skipper this morning. The insurance companies are raising the roof.
Well, it figures it's costing them a lot.
There's a message here from Judge Shelton. Wants us to call him.
Sheriff's Department?
Yeah. Marked important.
You want to get it?
Yeah, I'll get it. Narcotics, please. Yeah, Judge Shelton there? Yeah, thanks. He's there. Judge, is Frank Smith over at Auto Theft? Yeah. Oh? Well, why do you think that's it? Yeah. When are you going to meet her? Mm-hmm. Okay, we'll be right over. Right. Goodbye.
Anything?
Yeah. Judge got a call this morning from a girl. Said she's been invited down to Mexico.
Yeah.
Says 2 of them are going down to pick up some heroin.
Yeah. Where do we fit in?
Girl told Judge they'd be driving a stolen car.
We went over to the Hall of Justice and talked with Sergeant Judge Shelton. He told us about the call he'd received. He said that he was supposed to meet the girl at 3:30 that afternoon, and he wanted to know if we wanted to accompany him. We told him we did, and at 3:15 p.m., the three of us walked into a bar on West 7th. We waited for the girl to arrive. 3:46.
Here she comes.
The bar?
Yeah.
Hi, Jed.
Sir, I'd like you to meet a couple of friends of mine. Kurt Collins, Frank Smith, Joe Friday.
How do you do,
Hi,
sir?
Joe.
Sit down, Burr.
Thanks.
Can I get you anything? Sandwich, cup of coffee?
No. I could use an old-fashioned, though. Tell him to give you a big piece of orange.
Okay, I'll get it. Excuse me.
Sure. You two guys cops?
Yes, ma'am. That's right.
Where do you work out of?
Central Auto Theft.
Well, that's why Jed called you, huh?
Pardon?
About the hot car we're driving south.
Yes, ma'am.
My name's Vera. Why don't you use that?
All right, Vera. You know where the stolen car is, the one they're going to drive down?
Not now. I will, though.
What do you mean?
I don't think it's been stolen yet.
What?
Well, I don't think the car's been stolen yet.
Well, do you know when it's going to be taken?
Sometime this afternoon. We're supposed to leave tonight.
You know who's going to take it?
Just a friend of mine. A fellow named Harry Sloan.
Mm-hmm. Here's your old-fashioned, Vera.
Oh, thanks, Jed.
You know how this operation's going to work, Vera?
No. All I know is I got a call from Harry this morning. He asked me what I was doing. I told him nothing, so he asked me if I wanted to take a drive down to Mexico. I told him I would, and he said he'd pick me up.
He's going to pick you up at your house?
No. No, he said he'd call me and let me know where to meet him.
Well, where's he going to call you?
My place in about an hour.
What did he say it makes you think the car's going to be stolen?
Just the way he talks. Can't say anything real definite, just the way he talked.
You work alone?
No, there's another guy with him. I don't know who it is.
What did he say to you about the narcotics?
Just said that he was planning to pick up some H down there. Didn't say where.
Did he give us a description of this Harry, where he lives?
Yeah, I can give you that.
Got a record, do you know?
Never talked about it. I think maybe he's been picked up a couple of times, but I don't think he served time.
You said on the phone you had an idea how we could take him.
Yeah. You see, I'll have to drive my car to meet them. As soon as I get a call from Harry, I'll get in touch with you and tell you where the meet's going to be. I'll park my car and leave the license number of the stolen car in it.
Where?
In the back seat.
Judd, wouldn't it be a lot easier if we just kept her under surveillance?
Might be better for you, but it wouldn't for me. Harry found out I'd been playing footsie with you guys. He'd kill me sure. This is a big operation. Isn't just Harry in on it.
What do you mean?
All those cars that have been stolen lately, the trucks, it's all part of the deal. Same bunch is doing it.
Oh, you mean it's an organized ring?
Sure. They got it all laid out from here to Ensenada. All the way it's planned.
You know who the top man is?
No. I never heard the name. Harry never used it.
They take all the trucks down to Mexico, do they?
From what I understand, most of them end up down there.
You got any idea how they do it?
No.
What do you want out of this?
What?
Well, where are you going to come out, Vera? Why are you telling us all this?
Judd gave me a break once. This is my way to pay him back. Harry doesn't mean anything to me. I don't care if you get him.
Well, I still think we got to keep you under surveillance. Be safer for you, Vera.
Don't worry about it. I'll let you know right where I'm going to park my car. You find that, and I'll see that the other information's there. I better get going now.
Just a minute. You want to give us a description of Sloan?
Sure, I can tell you what Harry looks like. What are you going to do, check up on him?
We'd like to know who we're after.
I don't think you'll find anything. Be pretty surprised if you do.
Not as surprised as he'll be. We got the description of Harry Sloan and called the office to check the name. There was no record of anyone answering his description. Vera Collins was unable to tell us anything about the second man in the operation. She went back to her home and waited for the phone call from Sloan. We returned to the office and waited for her to contact us with the information about the stolen car. At 5:15 p.m., we got a call from her saying that her car would be parked somewhere within a 16-block area. From Washington Boulevard to the north, Adams Boulevard to the south, from Crenshaw Boulevard to the west, and Arlington Avenue to the east. Frank, Judge Shelton, and I drove out to the area and began to cruise the vicinity. We spent the next hour looking for the car. When we were sure that it was not in the designated area, we began to expand our search. At 6:37 p.m., we found the car parked on a small side street near St. Charles Place, 12 blocks outside the designated area. We searched the car and found a slip of paper in the back seat. It said, Chevrolet sedan, blue color, 1C 33272. We'll try to stall Harry on way to Tijuana. It was signed Vera. We got out a local and an APB with special attention to the Border Patrol on the car, asking that if it was found abandoned, to place a stakeout on it and to notify us immediately. It was 7:02 p.m. when we started to drive to the Mexican border. We kept in constant radio contact with Sergeant Al Gayton at the border, and he told us that the suspect's car had not crossed over yet. 10:37 p.m. We drove through National City and took the road to Tijuana. Just south of Chula Vista, we picked up a car that matched the description of the stolen vehicle.
How about it, Joe?
Yeah, it matches. Frank, can you get a little closer?
Yeah, I think so.
Different license plate, Judd.
Probably switched to cold plates. That's why they haven't been spotted before. You see him yet?
Yeah, it's the Collins woman, all right.
Want to take him now?
Yeah. I'll get the sign.
Doesn't look like they're going to stop.
I'll make a try for the tires, Frank.
Wait a minute, Joe. Yeah, road's clear ahead. All right. They're slowing down.
Yeah, they're pulling over. All right, get your hands on that wheel where I can see them.
I'll cover the other side.
Right. Come on. Right. All right, get out of the car.
What are you trying to prove with all this shooting?
Come on, mister, get out of the car.
Come on, you two, get out.
I don't know what you're trying to prove. We haven't done anything.
Come on, let's don't argue.
All right, mister, over to the car.
I'll take him, Joe. I'm going to be sorry about this. You got a right to stop us.
Stand still. Yeah, he's clean. Turn around. You're George Summers, aren't you?
Yeah.
They picked you up for that stolen truck about 6 weeks ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, you had to let me go. You're going to do the same this time. You got nothing to hold me.
No, you're wrong there, Summers. Where'd you get this car?
I borrowed it.
From who?
A friend of mine.
He knows you took it, huh?
Certainly. He told me to.
This car's stolen, and you know it. We know all about the operation, the whole deal. You going to stay on the rap alone, or you going to tell us who the big gun is?
What do you mean, operation?
This isn't the first car you've shoved across the border. We know about the narcotics, too. You're in this all the way. And you've got a choice. You can take it alone, or you can go along with us and nail the big guy. It's up to you.
Wouldn't do any good if I told you who he was. I can't prove anything on him, neither can you. You'll never get him, never.
Is that right?
Sure, he told me so. Cops will never get me. Those are his words. That's what he said.
Well, that's not new.
Huh?
You said the same thing.
have just heard is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. On November 19th, trial was held in Department 89, Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of Los Angeles. In a moment, the results of that trial. And now, here is our star, Jack Webb.
Thank you, George Fenneman. Friends, all of us on Dragnet are proud to be associated with Chesterfield because, believe me, Chesterfield is years ahead of them all. You just can't beat a cigarette that was good to begin with and keeps getting better all the time. But, of course, you can't find out how much you'll like them until you try them. That's what we'd like you to do. Try a couple of packs of milder Chesterfield, regular or king size. I know you'll agree that Chesterfield is best for you.
George Richard Summers and Harry Alden Sloan were tried and convicted of grand theft auto, 1 count. They received sentence as prescribed by law. Grand theft auto is punishable by imprisonment in the state penitentiary for not less than 1, nor more than 10 years. Next week, The Big Gun, Part 2. You have just heard Dragnet, a series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice comes from the Office of Chief of Police W.H. Parker, Los Angeles Police Department. Technical advisors, Captain Jack Donahoe, Sergeant Marty Wynn, Sergeant Vance Frazier. Heard tonight were Ben Alexander, Jack Crucian, Herb Ellis. Script by John Robinson. Music by Walter Schumann. Hal Gibney speaking. For a million laughs, tune in Chesterfield's Martin and Lewis show, Tuesday on this same NBC station. And sound off for Chesterfield. Either regular or king size, you'll find premium quality Chesterfield much milder. Chesterfield is best for you. Chesterfield has brought you Dragnet, transcribed from Los Angeles.
Now, new Fatima has the tip for your lips. Fatima tips of perfect cork. King size for natural filtering. Fatima quality for a much better flavor and aroma. So remember, new Fatima has the tip for your lips. Fatima. See how smooth they are.
Remember, Fatima is made by the makers of Chesterfield, Liggett & Myers, one of tobacco's most respected names.
Tonight, it's Adventure with Barry Craig on NBC.
Sound off for Chesterfield. Chesterfield, first with premium quality and best for you. Chesterfield brings you Dragnet.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to auto theft detail. You arrested one member of an organized ring of thieves. You're after the head man of the gang. Your job, get him. Here is Chesterfield's record with smokers, and important to you.
No adverse effects to the nose, throat, and sinuses from smoking Chesterfield.
That's the report of a doctor who has been examining a group of Chesterfield smokers for a full year and 2 months. Don't you want to try a cigarette with a record like this? Chesterfield. First with premium quality. Chesterfield. First choice of young America. And that's from a survey made in 274 colleges and universities. Try Chesterfields today. Chesterfield. Regular or king size. They're much milder and best for you.
the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Wednesday, June 24th. It was warm in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of auto theft detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Thad Brown, chief of detectives. My name's Friday. We were at the main jail, and it was 8:14 a.m. when we got to the second floor, the interview room.
Sit down, Sloan.
Yeah. Right there.
You guys start pretty early in the morning, don't you?
Yeah, once in a while.
You got a cigarette?
Yeah, there you are.
Thanks. I never feel like I'm alive until I've had a cigarette in the morning. How about a match?
Here.
There's nothing like it, that first cigarette. All right, what's this all about?
You know that as well as we do. A few questions we want to ask.
All right, go ahead, ask.
What's your part in the setup?
I don't know what you're talking about.
No, it won't work, Sloan. We got the whole story from Summers.
Well, then what do you need from me?
Just like to check out a few things.
What do you mean you got the whole story from Summers? What did he say?
Told us everything he knows about the setup. From what he says, you're the key man. Everything goes through you.
He said that?
Yeah.
You believe him?
Got no reason not to. That's why we're here. Get your side of the story.
How much he tell you?
Said everything he knows.
Yeah, that figures. You get a guy with a yen like that, and as soon as the roof starts to drop, they spill their insides out. That's the trouble with doing business with hypes. You always run into it.
Yeah, well, let's hear your side, huh?
Sure. I knew going in if you locked Summers up, you'd break. Just a matter of time before he started seeing things and talked all over the place.
Why don't you do a little of the same?
I got no choice. Where do you want me to start?
How about the beginning?
As good a place as any, I guess.
All right, who's the big gun in the setup?
Now, you're not going to believe
Well,
it.
why don't you try us?
I don't know who he is. I haven't got the slightest idea, and that's the truth.
You're asking us to buy the fact you work for a guy you don't know.
I don't care if you buy it or not. That's the way it is. I don't know who the big man is.
How'd he get your orders?
He calls me.
Where?
My place.
When?
When I got something for him.
How does he know?
We got a set time each day. He calls in. He tells me what he wants done. I tell him what's going on.
What happens if you want to talk to him and it's not the time?
Nothing. I got to wait.
How do you get paid?
He calls me and tells me where to go. I show up there and the doe's waiting.
All right, now you start at the beginning. Give us the whole story.
All right, I got in town about 6 months ago.
Where from?
Outside of Chicago.
All right.
I laid around town for a few days, and I get this rumble that maybe I can pick up a job.
Where'd you hear it?
Oh, just around. I couldn't tell you where it was. A word here, another one there. Just around.
All right, go ahead.
Well, I'm home one day, and the phone rings. I answer it, and the guy asked me if I wanted to go to work for him. I'm on my upper, so I asked him what he wanted me to do, and he springs this car heist thing on me. I told him I wanted no part of it.
Yeah.
He kept on talking, kept telling me how it was such a sweet, clean racket, how we could work it without being tagged. Finally, I told him I might be willing to sit down and talk to him about it.
Mm-hmm.
He says no go. That he didn't want anybody to know who he was, and that went for me, too. He told me he'd swing the operation on me.
What do you mean, swing it?
Well, he said he'd tell me how to set it up, how to make it work, who to contact. Said he had the organization already, but he needed a man to take charge of the L.A. part of it. He told me that I was the guy he wanted.
Well, Sloan, how did he happen to come to you?
I don't know. I did time when I was a kid for Grand Theft Auto. First time, I got off light.
Where'd you do the time?
New York State.
All right, go on.
Well, maybe he got a rumble about that. He knew that I was down. Maybe he figured that I was the guy to handle it for him. I don't know why. He just called.
Did you have any idea who this man on the phone was?
No. I thought about it a lot. I tried to come up with an answer, but there just wasn't any. At least none that I could find.
Might have been somebody you met back east.
I don't know. Could be. I got no way of knowing. The way the deal worked out, I didn't have any reason to get nosy. This guy really had it figured out like a charm. I still don't know how you tagged us. How about it? You tell me?
You know better than that.
Yeah, I suppose so.
All right, go ahead. What happened after you talked to this guy?
Well, I wasn't real anxious right off. I told him I'd have to think about it, you see.
Yeah.
Next day, he calls again. Told me he wanted to tell me the deal, lay it out for me. If I thought it was good, I could go along with it. Otherwise, we could call it quits. I was just about to get bounced out of my room, so I listened. We must have talked for about an hour.
Yeah?
That's when he laid it out for me. The way it looked, the plan couldn't miss. Wasn't anything he hadn't thought of all along the line. He had the leaks all plugged up tight, you see.
All right. How'd this deal work?
I thought Summers gave you the lineup.
Yeah, he did, but we'd like to hear it from you, all
sure
right?
you ain't trying to con me into something?
You said it yourself. You got no choice now, have you?
Well, the way it worked was smooth, real smooth. The boss, that's what I called him. He'd call me, tell me what kind of car he wanted. I'd get in touch with one of the boys and pass the order on, you see.
Yeah.
Hype would steal the car, call me.
Who?
Some hype would steal the car and call me right away, tell me where he had the car. Then the boss would call and I'd tell him. He'd drive by, look at the car. If he okayed it, he'd call me and I'd tell the fellow that sold it to get it rolling.
They drive it to Mexico, huh?
Yeah. First off, I'd meet him, give him enough money to get back here, though. After that, they'd switch the plates in the car and then shove out.
Where'd you get the plates?
Oh, the boss would get them someplace. Then they'd be delivered to me. Always cold plates. I think he probably got them off the used car lots. I don't know, but that's the way it looked like to me. You see?
Yeah. What happened then?
Well, the guy drive the car straight through. He delivered the car to a contact down in Tijuana.
What about the payoff from Mexico? How'd they work that?
Well, that went through me, too. I'd get a call from the boss. He'd tell me where the meat was. I'd show up and pick up a paper bag with the narcotics.
That the way the stolen cars were paid for? Narcotics?
Yeah. Heroin was the best, so by the time we cut it down, it went a long way.
What'd you do with the stuff?
Well, some of it I'd use for paying off the hype that lifted the car, and the rest went on to the boss.
How'd you get it to him?
He'd call me, tell me where to leave it. Maybe an alley downtown, a telephone pole on Central. Once in a fountain right in front of City Hall. Every time it was a different place.
Yeah. Is it possible any of the others might know who he is?
I talked to him. None of them know. I don't think they're holding out.
Yeah. This boss, he ever say anything that could let you know where he was calling from?
No.
How about his voice? You get anything from that?
What do you mean?
You have an accent, something like that?
No, nothing. He talked just like you and me. There's one thing, though.
What's that?
He's been around. He knows the tricks. He knows about me, everything I've ever done. The way he talks, you know he knows all the rackets.
Mm-hmm. He ever sent you anything through the mail?
Oh, what do you mean, like with the postman?
That's right.
No. A couple of times he sent me a batch of plates to use on the cars, but they come by messenger.
One of the companies here?
No, just a guy. I asked them who sent them, but they couldn't tell me.
Couldn't or wouldn't?
I ain't sure, but I really don't think they knew. It's always a different guy each time. Never the same one twice.
You got some of the plates around?
No, we used the last one on the car last night.
When does the boss usually send them to you?
Depends how many cars we've taken. He keeps track. When we're out of cold plates, another batch of them shows up. It depends on the cars, you see.
How about the other men working with you? The ones here in town? You give us a list of them?
If I do, it makes me a pretty big think.
If you don't, it's going to make you big trouble.
I suppose so. There's nothing you guys can promise me for this, huh?
You know the answer to that, too. We can see that the district attorney's office knows about the help you gave us. That's all we can do.
It's better than nothing. Okay, I'll give you the names.
Now, when this goes to trial, we can figure you'll be a witness for the state?
Against who?
Well, this boss, whoever he is.
Sure, if you can get him. I don't think you will, though.
Is that right?
Sure, it stands to reason. I worked for the guy and never got to see him. He ain't going to want to see the police.
Well, he's a little like you, isn't he?
Huh?
He's got no choice. We got the list of names from the suspect, and then we checked with Captain Carl Shy, Narcotics Division. He assigned 2 men to work with us on the case. We got in touch with the Sheriff's Department and filled Sergeant Judge Shelton in on the development. A call was put into Al Gayton at San Diego, and he said that he'd get in touch with the Mexican authorities and line up the cooperation we needed from them. The name of the contact in Tijuana was given to them, but they were unable to locate the suspect. We asked the stats office to make a new run on the M.O. of the auto thefts in an attempt to come up with a new lead on the head of the ring of thieves. They turned up 6 leads that were checked out. They netted us nothing. We got in touch with the State Highway Patrol, and we worked out a system to intercept any cars that might be stolen in the future by the same gang. The plan was that in the event we received a call regarding a stolen vehicle, we'd put it on the air with the heading of the code word Alex. This would alert all police officers between Los Angeles and the Mexican border. The men named for us by the suspect Harry Sloan were all taken into custody. Further interrogation netted us no new information. In the meantime, the leader of the gang had apparently succeeded in setting up a new group of thieves and was operating again. The thefts continued through the next month. During that time, all precautions were taken to keep the stolen cars from getting to the border, but the speed with which the gang operated made apprehending them almost impossible. The radio operation with patrol units along the highway was tried, but by the time the cars were reported stolen to us and we were able to get a broadcast out on them, they were already across the border. Thursday, July 30th, Frank and I checked into the office.
I'll check the book.
Right. Anything?
No, it's a call here from Faye, that's all.
Well, Skipper sure hacked about this thing, huh? Can you blame him?
No, I suppose not. He's got a lot of people leaning on him. I don't know, Joe. It's about time the brakes start falling on our side.
Well, we've been saying that for a long time, too. It doesn't seem to do much good. Even when we do nail the big gun, we're going to have to prove it, and that isn't going to be easy.
Yeah. The way he's got it worked out, it's going to be awful tough to build a case that'll stick.
Well, he doesn't handle the narcotics. He doesn't handle the money. All he does is okay the jobs.
Yeah, but there's got to be an outlet for the heroin. Well, where's he getting rid of it?
That's a good question. You know, we've been trying to come up with the answer a long time. No rumbles, informants don't know anything. I'll get it. Auto theft Friday. Yes, ma'am. Well, maybe we can help you. Yes, ma'am, huh? Well, yes. Well, could we meet you? Oh, no, ma'am. You won't be involved. Yeah, well, what's that address again? Yeah. Yes, ma'am. We'll be there. Oh, in about 10 minutes? What's that? No, ma'am. Just my partner. Yes, that's right. All right. See you then. Right. Goodbye. Well, maybe this is a break.
Who was it?
Woman. She wouldn't give us her name. She said that wasn't important. She wants us to meet her.
What about?
Something to do with used cars. 10:10 a.m. Frank and I left the office and drove to Hollywood to meet the woman who'd called in. She said that she wanted to meet us in one of the coffee shops along Vine Street. We drove out the new freeway to Hollywood Boulevard and then down to Vine Street. We parked the car and walked up to the coffee shop. The girl on the phone had refused to give us her name, so Frank and I had no way of knowing who she might be. She told me to take a booth at the back of the restaurant and that she'd find us. Frank and I sat down and ordered a cup of coffee, and we waited. There was no sign of the caller. 11 a.m. She still hadn't shown up. We were about ready to leave when a tall woman, well-dressed, in her middle 30s, came in. She stopped at the door, looked around the place, and then she headed for our booth.
Joe.
Yeah, it might be. No, she's heading for the next booth.
Are you from the police?
What?
Are you a policeman?
No, what?
Never mind. Are you from the cops?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm the one who called you and told you to meet me here.
Yes, ma'am. I'm Joe Friday. This is my partner, Frank Smith.
You got some way to prove it?
Ma'am?
Prove that you're cops. I don't want to talk to nobody who ain't cops.
Yes, ma'am. Here's my ID card.
Oh, yeah. That's you, all right.
Yes, ma'am.
How about you?
Yes, ma'am. Here's mine.
Oh, yeah. Oh, say, that's a real nice picture. You put on some weight, haven't you?
Would you like to sit down, ma'am? We can get started on this.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Now, what was your name?
You don't need that. It doesn't make any difference.
All right. We order you something, maybe?
Yeah, I'd like a Coke.
All right. I'll get it, Joe.
You make sure it's a real Coke, though. Genuine.
All right, ma'am.
I'm sorry I'm late. I got tied up.
That's all right, ma'am. I wonder if we can get started.
Well, I was across the street, waiting by the radio station.
Yes, ma'am.
Waiting for that singer. What's his name? You know who I mean. The cute one with the curly hair. Oh, I never can think of his name. Anyway, I was waiting for him to come out. He's doing a show over there, you know. He has a wonderful voice, and he's so cute.
Now, what's this all about, this thing you want to tell us?
Crazy kids and their autograph books. I couldn't even get near him. Miserable.
I wonder if we could get down to business here, ma'am. You said on the phone that you could give us some information?
Yeah, I think I can help you out. It seems to me that you might want to talk to this man.
What's his name?
Well, maybe I ought to tell you about him first, and then if you want to know his name, I can tell you that.
All right, ma'am. Go ahead.
Here's a Coke, ma'am.
Oh, thanks. That's good. Cold.
Do you want to go on?
On?
Yes, ma'am. About the man?
Oh, yeah. Well, there's this fella, and he's got an office in the building where I work.
Where would that be?
Corner of Hollywood and Dick Street. Right on the corner. 9th floor. Elevator's always out of order.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, he's got this office, and I see him a lot. You know, at the elevator? Maybe down at the magazine rack in the lobby. Anyway, I see him a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Well, about a week ago, he asked me for a date. Just like that. Come up to me while I was looking at TV Stars Parade. That's a magazine.
Uh-huh.
All about television stars, where they work, what they're like. All interesting things like that, like do they like garlic and what kind of knot do they use in their ties. All interesting things like that.
So this man asked you for a date, huh?
Came up just like brass and asked me out. Well, first off, I was kind of flattered. You know, he's pretty nice. Drives a nice car and all, but I told him I couldn't go out with him. And then I told him that I thought he should be ashamed of himself. I told him he should be ashamed of himself.
Yes, ma'am.
Sure. See, I knew he was married. Nice little wife, real cute. I saw her a couple of times around the building. Lately, she hasn't done too well. She's real cute. Imagine him asking me out and him a married man.
Well, yes, ma'am, but why do you think that the police might be interested in him?
I'm coming to that. That was good. Well, I kind of checked around, you know, to see what this guy did and what business he was in.
Yes, ma'am.
He's in the used car business, sells old cars.
I see.
That's it. Sells used cars in an office building. Not even a lot. Nothing. There's a glass door.
Is there any lettering on it?
Yeah, I thought about that, too, but there isn't. No, that's all he's got. Just this little tiny office desk and a couple of chairs. Glass door.
Well, ma'am, there's nothing illegal in that, you know.
Oh, yeah, but he doesn't have a license. No, sir, he doesn't have a license.
Beg pardon?
I work for a lawyer. Alphabetical filing, G to O. I asked my boss if you didn't have to have some kind of license to sell cars, and my boss says you do. This man doesn't have one. Goes out and buys these old cars and then fixes them up and sells them, and he doesn't have a license. Well, not only that, the men he sells the cars to. Oh.
Why do you say that?
Well, because I do, that's why. Always come in the office, and they sit there and talk, and then they leave. I get in the hall sometimes, and they laugh, and they're real spooky guys, real spooky.
Well, what's the matter, ma'am?
Man that just came in. The one with the kind of blonde hair, you see him?
Yes, ma'am. What about him?
Isn't that... Oh, what's his name? I know it as well as I know my own. He stars in all those space things, you know, like the Saturn Saga and the Martian Maniac that was on last week, and this fellow, that one that just came in. Well, he had on this kind of suit all covered with lights, a space suit. He was so cute.
Yes, ma'am. Well, if you'll tell us the name of the man in your building, we'll check on him.
Oh, there's more to the story.
Ma'am?
There's more. I'm not finished.
All right, would you like to sit down and go on?
Oh, yeah. Well, day before yesterday, I'm standing by the elevator, and one of this man's customers come out of the office. He walked over to the elevator. He reached into his pocket and took out a cigarette, kept the pack up here in the pocket up here. You know, here, with the handkerchief.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, when he pulled the pack out, he dropped a little package. Fell right on the floor, and he didn't see it. Right away, he got into the elevator and went down, and I went over and picked it up. A little tiny thing. Got it right here in my purse. I was going to give it to the man, and then I thought maybe I better come to you. I saw a picture of a thing like this in the newspaper once. Here it is. And you just look at that. There, you see?
Yes, ma'am.
What is it, Joe?
Heroin. 11:40 a.m. We continued to talk to the woman. She gave us the name of the man who ran the used car agency in her building, Ralph Holland. She also gave us a description of him and a description of the man she'd seen drop the narcotics. We went back to the office and checked the name through R&I. Holland had a record listing one arrest on suspicion of violation of the State Narcotic Act. The date of the arrest was August 17th, 1937. He'd been released for lack of evidence. We checked the name in the phone book and came up with a business and a residence address. He lived with his wife in a large tract out in the San Fernando Valley. 1:15 p.m. Frank and I drove out to talk with Holland's neighbors. They told us that the family was known and respected throughout the area. None of them could recount any actions that might cause suspicion. They told us the Hollands had lived in the house for the past 5 years, but that Mrs. Holland had said that the family was planning to move into town. From the neighbors, we found out that Mrs. Holland was a semi-invalid and rarely left the house. We called the office and arranged for a stakeout on the house, and then we drove back into Hollywood to talk with Holland's business associate. From them, we got the same story. Ralph Holland was a respected member of the community and was a member of several civic clubs. None of his friends could tell us much about his business activities. We did learn, however, that many of his friends couldn't figure how the family could live at the scale that they did. They said that Holland had a good business, but they couldn't see how he could afford the new cars that he drove or the new house he was planning to move into. 5:46 p.m. We checked back into the office and talked with Captain Nelson. Well, it should take us a couple of days to get the information back from the banks.
Yeah. In the meantime, we got a lot of walking to do.
Yep.
It's going to be tough.
Well, Skipper said we could have all the help we needed.
You get in touch with narcotics?
Yeah, I called them this morning. They'll give us a hand.
Yeah, rough duty, isn't it?
What do you mean?
Well, we figured the guy's guilty, looks good for it. Now the big job.
Yeah.
Got to prove it.
You are listening to Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action. Years ahead of them all.
Chesterfield is years ahead of all cigarettes.
Chesterfield quality is highest. Here's the proof.
Recent chemical analyses give an index of good quality for the country's 6 leading cigarette brands. The index of good quality table, which is a ratio of high sugar to low nicotine, shows Chesterfield quality highest.
Chesterfield quality highest.
15% higher than its nearest competitor.
Chesterfield quality highest.
31% higher than the average of the 5 other leading brands. Don't you want to try a cigarette with a record like this?
Chesterfield. First with premium quality and best for you.
Try Chesterfield today. Regular or king size.
Friday, July 31st, the legwork started. 2 teams of men were assigned from auto theft detail to help us, and narcotics sent 2 more teams to work with us. For the next 3 weeks, Ralph Holland was kept under 24-hour surveillance. A stakeout was maintained on his house and on his office. His business records were checked. From these, we came up with an estimate of what the suspect's income was. Then we began to check his expenditures. As a result, we found that he had control of at least $250,000 that his business could not account for. Everyone who visited the Hollands, either at their home or at his office, was checked on. Among his visitors, we found several known narcotic dealers. The auto thefts continued, but by now the code system had begun to work. From July 31st to August 25th, 16 cars were stolen that we attributed to Holland's operation. All of them were recovered between Los Angeles and the Mexican border. All of the drivers of the cars were taken into custody, but none of them could give us any information to aid us in obtaining a conviction. During that time, Holland didn't make any attempt to handle any narcotics. A dictograph had been placed in his office, and all of his conversations were monitored, but nothing incriminating was said. We got the address of the new home the suspect had bought, and a complete set of listening equipment was installed there. From the time the couple moved into the house, their conversations were monitored 24 hours a day. The recordings were played for Captain Nelson, Captain Shy of Narcotics Division, and for the men from the District Attorney's Office. They agreed that there wasn't enough evidence to issue an indictment. Friday, August 28th, Frank and I checked into the listening post. Well, you might as well sit down, Frank. We got a long night.
Gonna be better with a speaker.
What?
Fellas downtown putting a speaker, see? Earphones get too heavy.
Oh, yeah.
I was talking to Guy Anderson. He was out here. Said by the time you sit with those things on your head for a couple of hours, feels like somebody shot your ears full of Novak.
Yeah.
Speaker's better.
Yeah, I imagine so.
Easier, too.
Well, better turn it on.
Yeah.
Holland come home yet?
Just walked in before we got here.
Here they come.
How about a drink? I'll have one with you. Oh, I'll fix it.
Sounds like they're in the living room, huh?
Yeah.
You want to take a trip with me? Where to? Oh, I thought maybe we'd drive down south. Yeah, I figured I'd go to Mexico. Oh, I got it, honey. And anybody else to say it. Things been rough lately. Been picking the boys up as fast as I can find them. Why did you call it quits? You've made enough. Just about to do that, honey. That's the last trip. I'm glad of that. Honey, I don't like it. Maybe I'm just getting jittery, but I swear there have been men watching the house. Here. Thank you, Ben. Oh, you're just getting jumpy, honey. There isn't anybody watching and anybody who knows about it. Well, I'm glad you think that. I'm not too sure anymore. There's nothing to worry about. We're clean. This is the last trip. After that, we call it quits, okay? I'll be glad when it's over. You go with me. That'll be good for you. Get out of the house, see the country. Get you over this case of nerves you got. Might be kind of nice for that. Sure it would. Best thing in the world for you. See some new things. When do you figure to go? Oh, I'm going to pick up the car in the morning early. I thought we'd get away about 8. We can stay down there for a couple of days and get back Tuesday. Take our time. Have a few laughs. Who's going to pick up the car? A kid named Jimmy. We're going to meet him halfway, just outside of Del Mar. I'll take the car from there. Well, like I said, I'll be glad when it's over. I know how you feel, honey. I give you my word. Tomorrow, that's the end of it.
Well, let's hope he's not kidding. The following morning at 6:30 a.m., Frank and I, along with the men from Narcotics Division, were parked down the street from the Holland home. At 8:36 a.m., we saw the couple come out of the house and get into Ralph Holland's car. They drove out to Sepulveda Boulevard and they turned south. All units of the state police had been notified to watch for the car. Members of the sheriff's department were stationed along the road just outside Del Mar. If we could take Holland into custody while he was in the possession of a stolen car and confront him with the stories of the two suspects we picked up earlier, George Summers and Harry Sloan, we felt that there was a good chance that he might confess. In any event, we'd be able to bring him to trial on a grand theft auto charge. The meet was made with the man who'd stolen the car as scheduled, and Holland started to drive south to the border. Men from the sheriff's department took the thief into custody, and we followed Holland. About 4 minutes later, he pulled the car over to the side of the road in front of a small coffee stand. He and his wife got out of the car, and they went into the place. We drove by, and then we doubled back and parked about 100 yards up the road from the stand. Let's go. The boy should be around back by now.
Yeah.
All right, come on. Down at the end of the counter.
Yeah.
You Ralph Holland?
Yes, what do you want?
You driving that green Buick out there?
Yeah, so what?
Wonder if we could see the registration papers on the car.
What for?
Police officers. We'd like to see the registration papers.
What are you doing to him? You got no right to hit him like that. We weren't doing anything. You got no right.
Come on, Holland. On your feet.
You got it. Play a little rough, don't you?
We didn't call it. You did. All right, hands are back of you. Stand still. How about it? He's clean.
You guys sure got a lot of nerve to come in here and beat him up like this.
Who tipped you? Who think out?
Well, don't worry about it.
Somebody had to, but there wasn't anybody that knew. Nobody at all. How'd you find out?
All right, come on.
It's perfect. All the way around. Where'd I go sour? When'd I make the mistake?
When you started.
The story you have just heard is true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On January 14th, trial was held in Department 89, Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of Los Angeles. In a moment, the results of that trial.
Now, here is our star, Jack Webb.
Thank you, George Fenneman. Next time you buy cigarettes, I wish you'd kind of keep us in mind and remember what we've told you about Chesterfield. First, with premium quality, highest quality, in both regular and king size. You smoke a couple of packs and you'll see what I mean. Chesterfields are milder with a wonderful taste. And you want to remember this. Chesterfield is America's best cigarette buy. See for yourself, won't you?
Ralph P.
Holland was tried and convicted on 12 counts grand theft auto. His wife, Mildred R. Holland, was tried and convicted of 1 count grand theft auto. 7 other members of the gang were apprehended and brought to trial on the same charges. They all received sentences as prescribed by law. Grand theft auto is punishable by imprisonment in the state penitentiary for a period of not less than 1 or more than 10 years. 4 suspects were apprehended and tried on charges of violation of the State Narcotic Act of felony. They were convicted and received terms as prescribed by law. Violation of the State Narcotic Act of felony is punishable by imprisonment in the state penitentiary for a period of not less than 1 nor more than 6 years. You have just heard Dragnet, a series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice comes from the Office of Chief of Police W.H. Parker, Los Angeles Police Department. Technical advisors, Captain Jack Donahoe, Sergeant Marty Wynn, Sergeant Vance Frazier. Heard tonight were Ben Alexander, Stacey Harris, Virginia Gregg, Vic Perrin. Script by John Robinson. Music by Walter Schumann. Hal Gibney speaking.
For a million laughs, tune in Chesterfield's Martin and Lewis show Tuesday on this same NBC station. And sound off for Chesterfield. Either regular or king size, you'll find premium quality Chesterfield much milder. Chesterfield is best for you.
Chesterfield has brought you Dragnet, transcribed from Los Angeles.
Now, new Fatima has the tip for your lips. Fatima tips of perfect cork. King size for natural filtering. Fatima quality for a much better flavor and aroma. So remember, new Fatima has the tip for your lips. Fatima. See how smooth they are.
Remember, Fatima is made by the makers of Chesterfield, Liggett & Myers, one of tobacco's most respected names.